wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed, frozen and banished out of greed. In their restless dreams that try so hard to breathe, pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness.
Bro.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. They will come with the flame. They will wake up the despondent crowd. Storming world somehow.
Bear with me, guys. I just realized I misplaced something. I'm looking for my other glasses. Where are my glasses?
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed, frozen and banished out of greed. In their restless dreams,
Okay, well,
that try so hard to breathe, pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness.
oh, I found them. I got them. They're dirty, but I got them. I guess I'm going to Mariah Carey concert in December. Pretty cool. I'm not much of a Mariah Carey fan, but I still think that's cool. I hope you have a good time. Did you make those plans, or did someone else make those plans and you're tagging along?
Seasons start with you.
All I want for Christmas is you. I gotcha, I gotcha. Well, I hope you guys have a great time. Oh my gosh, the glasses difference is real. Jesus. Let me see. Sorry, I was trying to find my other pair of glasses, which are the ones I'm wearing now. I just want to feel a little bit. I don't know. So like I just felt like wearing the other pair. Obviously, I got my rectangle glasses and then I got my circular glasses, my Harry Potter wizard glasses. So if I ever want to go to Hogwarts, I just put on those glasses and I just say Avada Kedavra, and they'll grant me entrance, or they'll grant me entry, I should say. Um, the problem with these glasses is that they are a little loose. So I broke these glasses because I fell asleep wearing them, and then I ended up rolling over them. So, um, they don't fit my face anymore. Like before, like when I buy a pair of glasses, they get fitted to my face. So obviously, they're comfortable, but also they stay snug. But now, like if I were to look down, these glasses just start sliding off, and eventually, if I stay like this, eventually they're gonna fall off. Before they weren't like that, so it's a little unfortunate, but they're still functional. I'm not in the market of buying like unless I have to. I'll try to wear these glasses as much as I can before. Eventually, I'll have to get new pairs. Let's see here. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm missing something. Uh, okay. So, good afternoon, guys. Hopefully, you guys are having a good start to your week. I know it's Tuesday, so happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your tacos or, whatever your alternative choice of food is for the day. So yesterday we streamed a very long time. I think we streamed pretty much 13 hours. Gonna be a bit of a shorter stream today, ideally. Um, we played a lot of solo queue. It was very taxing, but at the end of the day, we did make it to 1600 on the alt account again. So we are pretty much good for the rest of the season until we have to play again. And we'll still play a couple of games here and there, but I'm not gonna force myself to grind solo queue for pretty much nothing. This was so when I was streaming. I think it was like a long stream the other day. There was a tournament that was There was a tournament that was simultaneously like going on while I was streaming, but I didn't get to watch just because I was playing solo queue and my solo queue was taking It was taking precedence over this. I feel like it would be a good opportunity to just take a break and chill for a bit. I'll probably still play solo queue after this, regardless, because when I look at the timestamp of the VOD, it's really not that long. So realistically, if I'm skipping the post game commentary and whatnot, I can pretty much probably just watch the matches. It'll probably be like a few hours, and then I can probably transition to solo queue after that. But it really just depends. But we get free content. Free content in the form of watching other people play the game, so I don't have to play it. So that is good enough for me. Let me just. All right. So, this is the. What is this exactly? So I know I watched the first match yesterday, but honestly, by the time I started watching, my brain was just out the door. Like, it was out the door and just ready to just crash out. So I'll probably rewatch the first match again. It's only 10 minutes, so it's not that big of a deal. This was the Unite Academy and Emalex presents America Summit. So I think the concept of this tournament was basically just a bunch of semi-competitive players or competitive players forming teams based on countries, and then they would compete and kind of have like a, I guess you could call it like a mini cultural World Cup type of thing. So each team, like, every country has, its handful of players, and basically they just play a round robin. I don't know what the format is, but eventually I think that's just like a round robin or like a double elimination bracket, and whoever's the last team standing wins. I don't know if there's a prize pool or not. I think it's just one of those for fun tournaments for playing the game as well as exposure. Um, the first matchup of the day is Team Canada versus Brazil. Obviously, I am Canadian, so hopefully Team Canada performs and lives up to the country's name. But if not, then it is what it is. I don't really. So before this goes any further, I don't really care about who wins and who loses. This is just more so uh, using this as a visual representation and just like maybe just giving constructive opinions about how Pokemon Unite should be played at a higher level. Naturally, this is just for fun, so I can't imagine that these guys are like being super sweaty to the point that they have to like lose sleep and practice. Like I seriously doubt that people are screaming for this type of thing. I think it was just like they get together, they play, and that's that. But if they were practicing beforehand, then obviously good for them. They have that competitive mentality going into even the grassroots tournaments. How's it going, Danny? Welcome to the stream. Hold on. Let me just do some shout outs very quickly for the streamers that pop by here and there. Let's see. Oh my god, I don't know why I keep doing that. That's the second time I've done that this week. My typey is not so good. Okay, so I guess we could use this as like, you know, a coaching session type of thing. What better way to help learn and understand the game than watching people that claim to be pro players? So these are the types of quality matches that you should be striving for when playing Pokemon Unite. Am I right? All right. So I skipped the introduction and all that stuff, but if I go back to just the brackets, so we have Team Mexico, Puerto Rico, USA, Peru, Brazil, Canada, Chile, and Venezuela. Uh, I noticed that there's a lot of Spanish ethnicity teams like Mexico, Puerto Rico, Peru, Brazil, Chile, and Venezuela. Um, all of them have some relation to, you know, Latin, like Spanish heritage or like, Latam. So, pretty interesting. I'm not really sure I don't know much about the people that are hosting it, but it is what it is. For your benefit, guys, I am multi-streaming to YouTube, so naturally, if you encounter ads on Twitch, you're more than welcome to just head over to my YouTube and hang out there. That way, you guys aren't missing out on too much of the gameplay or any of the discussions in between. Obviously, due to Twitch's policy, I cannot include a direct link, but if it's at Chan underscore. That is my YouTube channel, and naturally, I'm sure you'll see me live if you were to search that up. If you're not already subscribed, so you can get those notifications. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna chill today, guys. I'm not gonna, kill myself over Pokemon Unite. So let's just make our way into the draft phase.
Mega is. We've talked about Canada, Mexico, worth mentioning as well. But this US roster, I think, is really something quite special. And so, actually, I'd be a little bit annoyed if I was them going up against Peru in the first round. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yes, it is for sure. And that just it is what it is. That is I would be a little bit stressed to be up against them for sure. But we are going
Okay. So on this team, on Canada's squad, we got Big Uzi, Pikadiff, GT Espo, A2, and Pika's Toy. And then on the side of Brazil, so we got Mazo, DreamMax Kaizola, or I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm gonna be honest. We got Anthras Wolf and Ricardo W.
Ahead and heading on.
So this will be
into
our first matchup
ban
of the
phase
stream.
here.
United seems to be
Canada
pretty
is
big in
going
South
to be
America,
a
relatively
purple
speaking.
Team here going ahead and banning out the
Yeah,
Hoopa
I would agree.
from our orange team, which is Brazil.
And just if you are new to our brand new triple ban system.
Okay, so we got our first ban, we got a Hoopa ban, we got a Mega Charizard X ban, we got ourselves a Snorlax ban, Mega Lucario ban, I imagine.
Reacting thereafter. Brazil clearly very wary of the mega threat there with both Mega Charizard X and Mega Lucario off the table. Certainly Canada respecting the Snorlax there, joining the Hoopa with their bans, and
Suicune ban.
to Meowry, of course, huge CC potential. That's a lot of early game monsters off the table via Canada.
Absolutely. And we have seen a ton of Snorlax gameplay in our Challengers Rise series. No surprise to see it banned out here.
And then a
Even
Blissey
with
ban.
the most recent
Okay.
patches that have nerfed those megas quite a bit, there's still a huge threat, and we don't want to deal with them being on the board.
And then
Darkrai
Darkrai ban.
was
Oh,
not
sorry,
banned.
Darkrai first pick. So honestly, at this point, it's not very surprising, and I've talked about this before. I'm gonna be a lot more so guys, when I play Pokemon Unite, obviously I try to talk, I try to interact with you guys, but not half the time I'm focused on winning, and I lose my sanity because I'm trying to play the game. When it comes to stuff like this, I'm a little bit more vocally expressive because I'm not playing the game, so I can focus more on just watching and just seeing the stuff that's being presented rather than having to split my focus between playing the game and everything else. So I'll probably be a lot more chatty this time around. I've already talked about this many times, but the state of the game right now is not the worst it's ever been, but it's not particularly great either. It's still mega dominated. Despite the fact that Mega Charizard X and Mega Lucario have been nerfed, they're still ridiculously strong. People that's if you see anyone saying that these Pokemon are still not ban worthy, then quite frankly, I'm just gonna go with the assumption that they haven't seen someone good playing that Pokemon, or they don't know how to play it themselves, which is skewing their perception of the Pokemon. I still think Mega Charizard is ridiculously strong. Mega Lucario is still ridiculously strong. Darkrai is obviously a consistent contender for something that should be banned. But in the environment of 5 stacks, you can see that obviously the top meta supports right here, right there, and even Snorlax, which is a highly contested defender, are always something that are worth considering when it comes to bans. When you take out 2 of the S tier supports, Hoopa and Blissey, you leave stuff on the you pretty much have the leftovers and stuff that other stuff, the things that people are okay with leaving up. So in this case, we got Clefable, we got LD, and then whatever else. And then honestly, below, besides Hoopa, Blissey, Clefable, and Eldegoss, I would say everything else below these 4 is probably a tier below, if not worse than that. So it's really just a matter of prioritization and what people want to do. Naturally, there's also something as well, Umbreon. So the thing about Umbreon is that although it's technically a defender, the difference is that it has the flexibility to not only be a frontliner, but it also has the utility of being a quote-unquote support because it has Wish. Obviously, you get those defensive stats and you get flat healing as well. And then whether you go Foul Play or Mean Look, that's obviously situational and preferential, but it's not even if people decide to go something 2 defenders, if one of them is Umbreon, it still functions as a support. So it really just depends on what people want to play. We aren't far removed from arguably the best meta, which was right after employment nerfs and before the mega releases. Game was in a great spot, but terrible patches since to sell licenses and skins. Yeah, I agree. I mean, so right now, I would say that if these Pokemon could be tweaked a little bit more, so it doesn't feel like they need to be banned, I would say, besides the two Megas and Darkrai, and even for me, I think Palma is still a little overtuned. If these four Pokemon were adjusted a little bit more, well, it's not like they touched Darkrai, so honestly, this needs to be nerfed. All right, like this, in my opinion, needs to be nerfed without a doubt. It's ridiculously strong, and it's not like people can play in the jungle, but you can also play in the side lane as well. Whether you want to play as a carry or a support, that's completely up to the team. Another thing is though, so people often argue that as long as Blissey is available, so this support right here, people often argue that if Blissey is available, you are good against Darkrai. That's actually not true. The thing is Darkrai's power spike starts off at the moment you hit level 5, you can just start snowballing and you can just start applying map pressure in the form of aggression or just lane presence, whatever. Yes, Blissey has safeguard, but the thing is just like, by the time you get to the point that Blissey's online, quote unquote, like it's capable of team fighting and you start collectively grouping, that's still plenty of time for Darkrai to make an impact in the game, and that those leads could be enough to shift the momentum of the match. Like, for example, let's say I'm jungling Darkrai. I get my level 5 and then I go to a lane. It's very easy for Darkrai to just start snowballing, especially with how strong it is in the early game. Like, there's not many things, if at all, there's really not anything that's like a hard counter to Darkrai in the early game because of how potent it is. You have most people go Dark Void, to just be specific, but yeah, you have Dark Void. Granted that there are multiple targets in close proximity, it hits multiple targets and it can stun multiple things at the same time, and it does a ridiculous amount of early game burst damage. Even like other early game speedsters, like I don't know, Urshifu, Zoroark, Dodrio, Leafeon, like whatever you can think of. I'm not saying those Pokemon aren't strong, like, and with the right execution, you can maneuver around a Darkrai, but it's still a very strong pick regardless. It's like, it's strong with very low risk, at least in the early game. In the later stages of the game, when you have like a Blissey on the enemy team, it's not that Darkrai is not good against Blissey, it's just more so your margin for making a mistake is just a lot smaller. Because the thing about Darkrai is you want to... So if you're playing Dark Void and Foul Play, for example... not Foul Play. Is it, I always forget the name of the move. I think it's Nasty Plot. Oh god, I'm brain farting here. But basically the move with the 2 dashes. I always forget the name. Basically what you want to be doing is you want to be maintaining your stacks no matter what. So the way you know you have the stack active is if you have the diamond right below your HP bar. So like every time you use Nasty Plot, you get 1 diamond, and then you can go up to 2 diamonds. Basically, the next time you attack someone, whether it be like an enemy opponent or just an NPC, you proc your stacks, and that applies damage. And of course, if you have your Dark Void applied, then you can also stun them as well. It's just against the Safeguard Blissey in the later stages of the game, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to do so, because it like there's less they actually have counterplay. So is this country versus country instead of team versus team? It was just like a grassroots. So to answer your question, what this? It's basically just like a grassroots tournament. Nothing related to UCS. Nothing related to UCS is just, people getting together, representing a quote unquote country, and then playing in a tournament, and then obviously whoever is the last team standing wins the tournament. I don't know if there's a prize pool or not, quite frankly. I didn't really know this was going on until I pretty much ended my stream the day it was happening. So I figured I'd take the time to watch it just to see what's going on. And, at least it gives us time, or no, sorry, at least it gives us some insight as to what to expect on the weekend. Because keep in mind, guys, UCS begins again this upcoming weekend, which I will be watching live. It is LAIC, which is basically in the previous years, LAIC happened in the middle of the year. This time around, because they're changing the tournament format, or they're changing the competitive format, it's the first tournament of Unite, which is very different compared to usual. So naturally, you just we'll see how it goes. I'm very interested to see how they play out the circuit.
Do you see Canada go ahead and grab that off the board as their first speedster pick?
Darkrai has been gaining a lot of steam in off season, and rightfully so. I think that this speedster has so much to give, especially with the fact that it effectively stuns you, locks you down, and then does a decent amount of whack.
Okay. Legend yet? Nah. Not me. Not me, amigo. Like, I'm expert, but I honestly I think because so last season, last GBL's or last PvP season was the first time I never made it to Legend in Pokemon Go. I think because I finally broke my streak of not getting to Legend, I feel like I'm free. Like, I just don't care anymore. Before I felt that obligation to keep on getting it because I've always got it since the day I started playing Pokemon Go, or like since the day PvP came out. But now it's just like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, well, like I don't really care. I mean, well, maybe I'll play a couple matches. I'm expert, so like I'm not that far away. I think I was like slightly below 2,500. So another thing right here is this is something that I've noticed a lot. Blastoise has been a reoccurring pick in the competitive meta, and honestly, I don't think Blastoise is the worst Pokemon ever. I definitely think there are worse defenders, but I think this Blastoise pick is so overrated. And a lot of the time, I haven't seen this tournament, but the last tournament that I watched, which was I think it was like the Spriggles tournament, like the Rayquaza whatever. Bro, everyone was picking Blastoise, and everyone was playing it like it just had no impact. Like, every time I saw Blastoise, it's just like, okay, cool, you're picking Blastoise. And then when I see it in the game, I'm just like, so when do you start playing the game, my brother? Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I'm very underwhelmed at the Blastoise picks. That's all I'm really gonna say.
Damage through its passive. Brazil going the complete other direction, setting up for late game with that Blastoise as a core. Ricardo on that Blaziken.
The argument is that Blastoise counters Darkrai, but like in the Spriggles tournament, it was dead weight.
Rolling back the years, or maybe rolling it into Asia with the Crustle pick and the Chisel going with a counter to the potential top lane of that Blaziken, and Blastoise with a Buzzwole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Crustle is not a huge surprise to see either. We saw some phenomenal gameplay from that, from Worlds as well, from Peru. Really showcased both Scyther and the Crustle there. Brazil does go ahead and grab Umbreon as well as Eldegoss.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. They've got a decent amount of flexibility with.
I'm gonna be honest here. I feel like. So, obviously, well, I'll just number it up so it makes it easier to kind of follow along. So this was number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. All right. So this is just like the pick order and how they're, how it ping pongs back and forth. I think the moment you see Blastoise and Blaziken, so it doesn't really matter what moveset Blastoise goes. Like, if people are okay, so under the assumption that's true, and what I mean by that is like the comment that you made, Home Dog, about the Blastoise being a Darkrai counter. Under the assumption that's true, Home Dog, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Major Magics. I appreciate you, man. You just gifted a passport to our boy Major Magics. Welcome to Canada, gamer. Yeah. So no matter what moveset Blastoise goes, most of the time it really just depends. When I see a build like this, I automatically assume it's gonna be like a rapid spin and hydro pump build, like the A pressing build. Naturally, obviously that's subject to change because they haven't fully locked in. I feel like when you see Blastoise and Blaziken, especially if they're playing this type of moveset, I feel like they should have picked the Umbreon. I'll be honest with you. Like, Umbreon would be a solid response to the Blastoise Unite move. Not to mention, you have the utility. Not to mention, if you want to be... Like, you can still play aggressive with Umbreon if you want to. Like, you have that flexibility. You can go Snarl and Foul Play. You can go Wish and Mean Look. You can go Wish and, like, Foul Play. Like, you have a combination of different moves. But, like, if you have the Umbreon, you have, like, hard peel against stuff like these two Pokemon. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of people playing Crustle. Also, one of those Pokemon that I think it's kind of underwhelming, if I'm being honest. I've seen a lot of people play as a support, like, obviously defender/support with XP share, but it hasn't been like... It hasn't really wowed me in any capacity.
Might be leaning towards Wish. Of course, we see the Clefable taken by Espo. Big Uzi, Mr. Uzi coming out with the Cinderace. And honestly, another Pokemon that's sort of been flying under the radar, been picking up a lot of fans just by its attack damage output. Wolf rounding out that Brazil roster. It's a big old Miraidon, which we don't see as often nowadays as we did in the middle of Season 4 of UCS. But looking at that with the Energy Amp and with your Incense and Specs, I imagine that we are going to be seeing the good old Charge Beam for some backline poke.
All right, then finally, you got... The moment you see a Cinderace right here, you're not playing for early game, all right? You're playing for late game. Like, Cinderace is not known for its early game anything. Like, it's one of the many ranged attackers that people don't really play anymore just because they've fallen out of favor because there's just so many other things to play. So, if it's like, think of it like this. If it's lane Cinderace, you're going to have a tough time. If you're playing jungle Cinderace, you're going to have a slightly easier time because you get more experience or you have more access to experience, but you're still not going to be doing much, especially against this team. Clefable, solid support. Buzzwole, I mean, Buzzwole is always going to be a solid support, a solid top laner. And of course, it is a good response to the Blastoise. Blaziken as well. Like, this is like a skill matchup. Like, realistically, I think Blaziken scales better than Buzzwole. However, I think Buzzwole has the better early and mid game. But it's a skill-based matchup, so keep that in mind. Like, it can go either way. It just depends on the people that are actually playing the respective Pokemon. Darkrai, obviously, solid right now. If you wanted my opinion on what I think about the respective comps, I think if they... It's a little tough, because I'm personally not a fan of the Blastoise, but that's just my personal bias, seeing it kind of be so underwhelming. But honestly, I think if Canada took the Umbreon instead of Crustle, and they picked something else other than the Cinderace, I think they could have had a really solid comp. I would lean more over to this side, just because of the Cinderace pick. That's just my opinion, though.
And since Clefable was cursed,
All right, so now that the draft is over, we can just get into the game.
Brazil. Big early game damage dealers in your Darkrai and your Buzzwole. But let's see how it all pans out, Miari. Game number 1 in this best of 3 between Canada and Brazil. Purple side Canada, orange side Brazil.
we do have Uzi going into that central path with.
All right, so it is Cinderace jungle and it is Darkrai lane.
For Brazil on in the center lane there, Buzzwole up top there with the Blastoise and Eldegoss just kind of facing off a little bit. Clefable going ahead and running forward, getting some of those stacks that it will be needing to get its Moonlight to be as effective as possible. Look at that little guy go.
Recently received a Mega Evolution, dear Clefable. You're not going to be reaching that stage if you're already knocked out. No K opener, though, as of yet. They do get away with it, and that's preventing Brazil from taking crucial EXP.
Okay.
That reboot up in the top path now, but they're going to be joined by...
So keep in mind, Clefairy already burned X speed because they were stacking, or they were scoring.
Central laners are looking for each other right now, and they find each other in that bush. Cinderace does go down early, giving us that Combuskin here, and Eldegoss is also taking
this right here.
Looking for each other right now, and
I mean, like this right here is just like a lack of respect. As a jungler, especially when you are contesting, so like this is from like a jungler POV. You guys know I play a lot of jungle. Like I played in League, I play in this, and like. This is just a lack of respect from Big Uzi. Because this is about to spawn in 4 seconds, alright? So I'll just label it out for you guys. Alright, 4 seconds. So realistically, you don't need to face check bushes you don't have vision in. Because like the Altaria camp is going to spawn relatively soon. So like, if... getting vision here... like, having vision is always an important thing. But not if it's at the risk of putting yourself in danger, especially for a very low payout. Literally, the moment the jungler shows themselves anywhere, like it's just, it doesn't benefit you in any way. It would have been better if like Uzi just went here and just stood here and just waited rather than face checking this. Because the thing is, not only is the jungler here, so you got the danger of the enemy jungler that is objectively just stronger than you at this level point. Because like I said, guys, Cinderace early game is just horrid rancid. There's a reason why so many people have deviated or just kind of put those ranged attackers on the back burner, because at their level 5 is not that great. Obviously, there are some of those ranged attackers that have better level 5s than others. An example would be Dragapult. An example would be Duraludon. Just using those two as examples, because at their level 5, they actually get like a more meaningful skill. You can go Flash Cannon, and obviously you got Dragon Pulse on Duraludon. Flash Cannon objectively being stronger at this stage of the game because of the range and the damage. Dragapult gets Dragon Dance or Phantom Force, either or. So you get that, you get the movement speed, you get the the invisibility, or you get the potential of resets and the movement as well. Like, when it comes to Decidueye, when it comes to Greninja, when it comes to Cinderace, their level 5s are just absolute dookie. Like, they're just shit. You get level 5, and it feels like, yeah, you level up, like, you evolve into your tier 2, or, like, your evolution stage 2, it feels like nothing has changed. You just change forms, but that's pretty much it. So when it comes to, like, a combative point of view, it's just like, you face check this guy, you're just gonna get severely punished, which is basically just what happens. And of course, there's also this, like, this, how should I phrase it? Sometimes when it comes to, like a potential skirmish or like a fight, sometimes whoever's able to pull the trigger first is gonna win. In this case, because Uzi just face checks a Combuskin, and they weren't ready for it, because naturally they're just face checking, hoping no one's gonna be there. Like, they just don't have the time to react to the play that's about to happen inevitably.
Are looking for each other right now, and they find each other in that bush. Cinderace does go down early, giving us that Combuskin here, and Eldegoss is also taking no prisoners with Clefable off the board. Huge scores coming in for Brazil.
And then, of course, obviously very greedy from Espo as well. You have to keep in mind that the Espo already used the X speed trying trying to get away when they were stacking points earlier. So this is just very disrespectful. It's just very, lackluster of just like overextending. They were trying to get the farm, trying to level up. I get that. When I play solo queue, sometimes I do that too. But of course, in a much more coordinated setting, obviously in this case being 5v5 stacks, when you make a small mistake like that, it's much more punishing and damning because it's a 5-stack scenario. Like when you play solo queue, for example, and you make a mistake, sometimes it costs you, but other times, yeah, you make a mistake, but it's not the end of the world because the people you're playing against are objectively not as good. So it's like, even if they get an advantage, they don't know how to use it to snowball their lead even more. In this case, it's like, okay, well, you die, you're gonna lose points, you're gonna lose experience, you're gonna lose farm, you're gonna get denied experience, all that stuff, and then it's just gonna feel so much worse to play. Also, the rotation from the Umbreon was also really good for the aggressive play here as well.
From Antharis, it means that Brazil able to collapse in on this zone, bring those points down to 27 at best. Make that a 26 with that extra stack in for Ricardo. And well done to both Antharis here and Kaijola, who've been able to round up the Natu as Reggie Drago's on the horizon, going in for the foul play immediately on this poor little Dwebble, who's going to be, oh no, they have to use the eject button, but it does mean that Antharis is not able to confirm the KO. Very lucky boy.
What a fun start to this match. We do have Reggie Drago, which is about to be on the table here, but up top, Canada is looking for a push here. Buzzwole is able to throw Eldegoss into its teammates, but it's not quite enough. Eldegoss is able to get away. They are taking that pad advantage here. Brazil gets a good evo there, and we do actually have Blastoise on the table right now.
Yeah, that's a really early Evo. Very, very well done here from Brazil to get all of their Evos online. But Pika's toy here with this Buzzwole starting to get moving. Reggie Drago into the hands of that Blaziken specifically. Remember when all of the EXP given from the Reggie Drago was much more significant and team-wide? We hesitate to think of those days, but we're not hesitating if we're Brazil. Right on the money yet again. 2K.
I mean, like, there's so many things going on, but like this right here is just, they tried to make the aggressive play, they tried to take the initiative, catch up the Eldegoss. It does work. So although they didn't get the Eldegoss right here, it does burn their battle item, which is the eject button. So obviously eject, gone. And although they don't get the kill immediately, this play that they make, and they try to, like, this proactive play that they tried to make with their numbers advantage, it almost worked out, but it actually works out in a couple of seconds because it makes it so that Eldegoss cannot eject away from the Crustal Rock Tomb that happens in a couple of seconds. But the thing is just like, these are the types of plays that are a result of like they are well aware that they have a numbers advantage, at least for now. So it's not that it's a bad play per se, but at the same time, it's also, if you make, when you make a proactive play, obviously there's the risk and reward. It needs to be worth it. And if it's not, then it just gives the enemy team, in this case Brazil, the opportunity to react or make their own proactive plays in response to things that you're using. So they're burning resources to try to make a play to get back into the game. I respect it. It's not a bad thing. Obviously, it didn't work out in their favor immediately, but I respect that. Like, honestly, I can respect people that try to still make proactive plays versus people just passively losing the game slowly and not trying anything at all. Like, if I had to watch a team, like, let's say, for example, we have two different teams. We have Team 1, a team that's in a losing position, but they're constantly trying to at least get back into the game. Versus Team number 2, another team that is, they're in a losing position, but instead of making proactive plays or even trying to get back into the game, they're literally just waiting the 8 minutes to Groudon and hoping that, things work out in their favor. If I had to choose a team to watch, I'd rather watch Team 1. So at least they're, although the game is still very early on, they're trying.
Able to get away. They are taking that pad advantage here. Brazil gets a good evo there, and we do actually have Black.
Of course, this is just bad. Unfortunately, Darkrai getting caught out in the 2 versus 1. That is just unfortunate. So here, this is what I'm talking about right here. So Eldegoss burned their eject button earlier, and they got picked off here. So the Rock Tomb pays off here because now they couldn't eject to get away from that.
With this Buzzwole starting to get moving, Reggie Drago into the hands of that Blaziken specifically. Remember when all of the EXP given from the Reggie Drago was much more significant and team-wide? We hesitate to think of those days, but we're.
And then this is the problem here. So it's a two-part problem. So yes, they get the Eldegoss, but then they they overextended. So they're trying to get more that they can get. So this is a little bit greedy. They're overextending. And not to mention, you have to keep in mind that it's not like they're back in the game. Well, like, the levels are kind of close, but keep in mind that Blastoise being level 7 at this stage of the game is really good. Because, like, ideally, you want to be, like, level 7, level 8 for first objective, around that level threshold. They're already well past that pacing. And then these guys can't kill them, and Blastoise survives the 3 versus 1 and lives long enough, allowing the rest of the team right here to rotate top, and then you'll see what happens, which is obviously they collapse, they get the Crustle, they also pick up the Cinderace, they also pick up these guys. It's just like they bit off more than they could chew, and then they get punished for it. And then all the,
we hesitate to think of those days, but we're not
time and effort they tried to make proactive plays, it's now nullified. Like, it just doesn't mean anything.
All 5 on top path. No way that this Cinderace is going to get anywhere close, nor should they get anywhere close. Brazil with 3 minutes on the board. Meowri with almost enough to win the Darkrai.
I hear you. Brazil looking to play with that Regieleki here up top, and one of our Regi trios is down bot going to Canada uncontested here, but they're going to have to defend against this huge Regieleki push from Brazil. Wow. They're already Clefable goes down, Regieleki goes in, and big scores are coming in from Brazil. They are moving as a pack and with a lot of dominance.
So successful a push, they legitimately ran out of points to score. That T2 would have been cooked, but being aggressive and heavy-handed on the top part, they now lost their T1. First major team fight of the day. Blaziken, wonderful eject button, cancels the Darkrai through the middle of everybody with the punches, with the kicks, and with plenty of KOs to boot. This Brazil squad lost their T1, and they took that personally. Plenty of scores, I say plenty of scores down. Plenty of people do score, still with very little Helios energy to score with, but it does mean that they...
All right, so here...
would have been cooked, but
naturally, you really wouldn't expect this situation to go any differently. Just because collectively, they're like, Brazil is just in a better position right now. Yes, Darkrai has Unite move. Yes, Cinderace has Unite move. Unfortunately, Darkrai didn't really get it off, I think. Let me just double check.
They now lost their T1. First major team fight of the day. Blaziken, wonderful eject.
Yeah, they didn't even get their Unite move off, just to be clear.
Would have been cooked, but being aggressive and heavy-handed on the top part, they now lost their T1. First major team fight of the day. Blaziken, wonderful eject button, cancels the Darkrai through the middle of everybody with the punches, with the kicks, and with plenty of...
Yeah, so unfortunately, Team Canada right here are just not in a position to team fight because they're just collectively weaker than the opposing team. In terms of points, not that far off, but in terms of just team composition and, respectfully, their Pokemon that are being played in this game, Brazil are just in a better position. Darkrai wasn't able to get Unite move off. They got stunned. They got immediately bursted out. Cinderace did get their Unite move off, but unfortunately, they just don't have the front line right now to really have enough time to pump out that DPS. So it's a very one-sided fight. And this is like the problem with okay, there's two major problems that I see. The first one being the Cinderace, the second problem being the Darkrai. So keep in mind, at least up until this point in the game, Darkrai hasn't really had much of an impact. They haven't had the opportunity to make any plays. And keep in mind, Darkrai wasn't jungling. So they were laning, and of course, they were kind of just hanging out bottom, trying to get their levels, because what else are they going to do when top lane is getting absolutely dismantled? That being said, I would say this about any speedster in general. But, like, when you play speedsters, just from a general point of view, alright? Speedsters are supposed to have an early game impact because the trade-off is is like depending on how the progression of the game goes, a lot of speedsters tend to fall off in the late game. I'm not saying they can't do well in the late game, but generally speaking, it's harder to play speedsters in the late game because at that point, a lot of characters on the opposing team, depending on the team composition, of course, like assume it like as long as they're not drafting like 5 attackers, for example, it's going to be significantly harder for speedsters to have a big impact because they're not going to be melting people 100 to 0 like they usually are in the early and mid stages of the game. So, like, when Darkrai, in this case, Darkrai hasn't really contributed in the game so far, and of course, Cinderace hasn't done shit because it's a Cinderace. Like I don't fault the player. Well, like, obviously, the player made a couple of mistakes, but I don't fault the player per se. I fault the Pokemon choice because Cinderace is just absolutely shit. Like, I'm sorry to you Cinderace mains, but, like, it's a shit Pokemon. Yes, it has that hyper carry potential, granted that you have the team composition built around it, and that's assuming you make it to that late game carry Cinderace to begin with. But there's a reason, like, the general consensus is there's a reason why people don't play these Pokemon even in casual gameplay. It's because there's so many other things that have better impact and better, well, I want to say better scaling, because honestly, Cinderace level 15 is pretty nutty. But, like, in the early, sometimes if you lose the early and mid game, even if you scale into the late game, by that time the damage is done. Like, like if your team collectively gives up 100 kills, for example, before Groudon spawns, like, it doesn't matter if you get to level 15 when everyone on the enemy team is level 15, for example. Obviously, that's a very exaggerated example, but, like, the point still stands that if the enemy team is fed before you get to the last team fight of the game, then it doesn't necessarily matter if you scale well or not, because the enemy team is going to be in a position that they can probably deal with a fed Cinderace, or, like, you know, a Cinderace that's scaled to where they need to be to actually be useful. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is just a combination of misplays and just bad comp right now.
To boot, this Brazil squad lost their T1 and they took that personally. Plenty of scores. I say plenty of scores.
How's it going, Benny?
People do score, still with very little Helios energy to score with, but it does mean that they preserve their 100-point lead plus.
They do indeed. Yeah, this Darkrai is getting caught out too here. That is just unfortunate positioning here. With Miraidon here providing some huge damage. Darkrai able to get the KO there on that Eldegoss, though. A good 2 KO streak here, getting it some crucial experience. Pikachu, huge walls in on that Miraidon there. What a play. And this Blastoise is also in trouble as Buzzwole is trying to take it down.
This is a man that loves to cause grief in ranked, using the eject button to get that Miraidon into the range of the Rock Tomb. Oh, and then to get the KO as well, off the back of a triple X Scissor, which sets up a 2 KO streak to that Darkrai. Incredible stuff. But that Hydro Typhoon, you would have noticed, used very early in the defense of this T1 pad, and that means that Brazil is kind of lacking a lot of options. The Charge Cannon and that Miraidon, by proxy, moving back. The Cotton Cloud Crash tries to buy a little bit more space. Canada trying to show a little bit of ego here, a little bit of posture, as that Regieleki will be crucial to try to take down the T1 zone. Super Sword Slam manages to cancel out the Blastoise somewhat, but doesn't get the KO. The Cinderace falls. Blazerkin's down. 2 of our ADCs off the table. Another huge X-Scissor, and no! Denied by the Miraidon. That Charge Beam comes in clutch. In comes the Thunder now. Onto A2. The Darkrai falls. 3 KO streak here for Wolf99, and the Blastoise secures the Regieleki.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right here, because up until this moment, it was looking so good for Canada. So after the initial fight over here, you can see Brazil scoring. They score their points. Some of them reset. They're going to go farm, while the others stick around, and they're kind of hovering around the area. So Darkrai goes aggressive, which is a little overzealous. However, keep in mind that it's only like, yes, it's a 3 versus 1.
Yeah, this Darkrai is getting caught out too here. That is just unfortunate positioning here.
But they don't have a lot of damage. And because Miraidon wasn't able to execute the Darkrai, now they're able to retaliate, get their Dark Void, get their nasty plots off, and then they output the damage. And then, of course, the Rock Tomb stops Miraidon from escaping. Blastoise is getting caught out here.
This is a man that loves to cause grief in ranked, using the eject button to get that Miraidon into the range of the Rock Tomb. Oh, and then to get the KO as well, off the back of a triple X scissor, which sets up a 2 KO streak to that Darkrai. Incredible stuff. But that Hydro Typhoon, you would have noticed, used very early in the defense of this T1 pad, and that means that Brazil is kind of lacking a lot of options. The Charge Cannon and that Miraidon, by proxy, moving back. The Cotton Cloud Crash tries to buy a little bit more space. Canada trying to show a little bit of ego here, a little bit of posture, as that Regieleki will be crucial to trying to take down the T1 zone. Super Sword Slam manages to cancel out the Blastoise somewhat, but doesn't get the KO. The Cinderace falls. Blaziken's down. 2 of our 8.
Yeah, so up until this point, it was pretty much even. The good thing about the good thing about all that's going on right now is that Cinderace is getting a majority of the experience from these fights. Like, if you rewind from here, like, starting from the end of this fight, alright? So, you can see the level 9. Fast forward, basically just a little over a minute. So, a minute and 10 seconds, like, at most. They've gone 3 levels in just over a minute, which is huge for a Cinderace because you just hit a huge power. Well, you're just scaling exponentially fast. Unfortunately, because Cinderace died, they just lose a large majority of their damage, and then that just allows Brazil to kind of win this fight.
Miraidon with the 4 KO streak, nicely snagging that Regieleki for Brazil. Once again, Canada is going to have to fend this off here. They want to get that tier 2 pad down as quickly as they can. Umbreon,
yeah, if you're talking about eject on Blaziken, eject Blaziken was always common.
It's really a brutal.
I think most people use eject button
right now. Brazil
rather than full heal.
See what else we can get here.
I don't think full heal is bad per se. Obviously, that will just help you ensure you get your skills off so you can combo properly. But a lot of people like that eject button for repositioning and aggressive playmaking.
And Brazil's got to be cognizant of that. They're going to pick up the Registeel, which is going to actually lead into them having great success both in that central area fight and here on bottom path. That Buzzwall had Ricardo up against the wall. Didn't matter because the Blaze Kick simply too strong. Cinderace taken down by a foul play over the wall, and it forces Pikatif all the way back to the Pokemon Center. They will not be able to defend this zone. Big old overdunk, and despite Canada scoring 200 points themselves with 3 minutes left, Brazil does one better. 314.
Yes, and they are sitting at, like our wonderful announcer in United said, a huge lead here. Regidrago is just getting torn down by Brazil as well. We've got 50 seconds until Groudon is on the map, and Regieleki will be back up in 20. We'll see what the teams go for here, but we are getting caught, this Crustle, by our Blaziken, getting that last hit on it. We are moving up top lane, seeing if we can go ahead and grab this Regieleki before Groudon spawns.
I have to say, really intelligent work from Ricardo. Anytime that Darkrai arrives on the scene, they are immediately laser focused onto throwing it right back to the Pokemon Center, and a Blaze Kick fully charged will basically do the trick. Throw in a Focus Blast there for good measure, and that's as good as a KO. Smart work from Canada here to let that Regieleki hit the tier 2 zone. It means that it limits the amount of points that will eventually go in for the overdunk, but Groudon's already here. Canada's already taking the fight, and Brazil is more than happy to match them.
Yeah, and then like at this point, like it's just over. So the biggest thing right here is just Pikatif getting caught out. I will never understand. And this is just like a basic like mistake that defender players make. Is like when defenders are overextending because they think they can, because they're playing a defender. It's like, oh, you know, I got a lot of HP. Oh, I can frontline. You know, I can go wherever I want to get vision, etc. But it's like when you are overextending, especially near the enemy team when they have multiple team members around, it doesn't matter if you're a defender or not. They just have the damage collectively because you're getting caught out to deal with a defender relatively easily and quickly as well. So I couldn't really see because okay, let me rewind it 10 seconds just to see if I can.
Back to the Pokemon Center, and a Blaze Kick fully charged will basically do the trick.
Oh yeah, okay. This right here, like I don't even need to see. You can see you can see the Crustle Pikatif going in towards that little bush in the choke point. So that little bush that like separates the the Groudon pit and your jungle, like right here. From the look of things, it looks like they're trying to get vision, or maybe they are just passing through. I don't know. But this is just a huge mistake. There's no realistically, and this is me being objective. Even if you get vision here, it doesn't mean anything because your team is so split up across the map. Like, you got Cinderace right here, obviously on the camera. You have Darkrai down here in the bottom L bush right here. So you got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. Even if you get vision for your team, you are isolated and all on your own. So at this point, it's just like, it doesn't matter. Because even if you get the vision, what is it going to do for you if your team isn't able to capitalize on that vision that you're getting for them? So they're getting caught out for no reason, and then literally, this is just one of those things. When you're getting caught out right before Groudon spawns, it basically not a good majority of the time, it will probably result in the enemy team forcing a fight because they know that they have the advantage. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. And of course, I think that awareness kicks in like a little too late because right before the Crustle is about to die, they're forced to Unite move. And obviously, it's not a good Unite move because you're using it defensively because you're getting caught out. But I think they realize if they die there, then the game is probably going to end, which is why they're uniting to begin with, hoping that it's going to be enough to save them. Or stall enough time for your team to kind of get in position to do something. But yeah, they get caught out. They're forced to Unite move. Obviously, Umbreon pops their Unite move in response, gets the shield. Cinderace gets caught out immediately as well. So, where did Cinderace die? So, Cinderace is like right by the Clefable. They get... Oh yeah, they just got straight up CC'd and melted.
Here, Canada's already taking the fight, and Brazil is more than happy to match them. There's already 2 down for Canada, including their ADC, including their big old tank. The core, the spine of the team have been completely ripped out, and now Brazil's going for the rip themselves. Hydro Typhoon was in the middle there, and the Blaziken surely takes it indeed. They do. Ground.
And this right here is just like 2 prime examples. So obviously it's very good for Brazil to take advantage of the fact that it's literally a 5 versus 3. So they know their... Like, they understand their win con. Or, like, they understand that they have a significant advantage. Even if they lose the Groudon, realistically, if it comes down to it, they just kill the remaining 3 members. Like, what are they going to do? They have very low secure potential as well. So this is, this is just a very easy call to make. Like, it's very low risk for you because of how significant of an advantage you have. You have the secure from Blaziken, of course. So you have 2 Unite moves, an AoE Unite move from Eldegoss, which heals, and a zoning and damaging Unite move from Blastoise against 3 people. Like, realistically, maybe, like, if I were to be super, super optimistic, maybe Darkrai can Unite move the Blaziken, and then leave the steal attempt to the to the Buzzwole and Clefable, maybe? But, like, that's like me, like, that's like the Hail Mary play because you have nothing left to lose at this point. But where things go wrong, obviously for Canada, is number 1, poor position. All right, like poor positioning, and then number 2, yeah, Cinderace just didn't really have a lot of value this game. Not to mention, like, if you're going to be playing Cinderace, then you got to make sure you stay alive. It's that simple. If you're dying pretty much the same time as the guy that's getting caught out, realistically, it's just playing this Pokemon just isn't going to do anything for you. Like, you're playing a late game Pokemon, but also you're getting caught out early. I mean, that's just, they got very little value out of that Pokemon.
Core, the spine of the team have been completely ripped out, and now Brazil's going for the rip themselves. Hydro Typhoon was in the middle there, and the Blaziken surely takes it indeed. They do. Groudon in the hands of Brazil. Canada sent reeling, and indeed into a surrender.
And then it was just instant surrender.
As you could see, a little bit before the Groudon was actually ripped, the Crustle went ahead and started that engage with Rebel Rouser there. Umbreon with the Moonlight Prance, and Canada, just 2 members went down. Brazil took the opportunity.
I haven't seen Cinda turning winning
of our first set with these these gamers today, sitting at 334. Blaziken with the MVP and Dark Riot with it over on the side of Canada.
Quite impressively, Ricardo with the only knock assist sheet with no double digits. Everyone else, whether it was knocks for Wolf or assists for the rest of the squad, all into those double digits. And you can see why, as you rightly pointed out earlier, this team moving really successfully as a unit. Very rarely did we see them split up. And so one man's work is the team's work. Everybody is able to benefit both EXP wise and indeed stats padding wise. We can see here from the damage dealt that, of course, A2 with a really significant effort there. The 54,000, it was a relatively low damage game, Yari, but I think that was
Buzzy Boy can steal with cringe power, perhaps.
As opposed to,
I mean, it's always possibility, but
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
it's very low.
It's kind of balanced between
Like, it's never going to be 0%. It's always going to be, there's always going to be that certain percentage, but that's just like, you gotta try at that point.
50K on it as well. It just was such an exciting match for sure. In counter that very quickly.
Right, we can go to the next
I mean,
match.
that was just detrimental.
Opinion between game 1 and game 2 here for
All
our
right,
side.
game number 2. So this is where I left off last night. Like, I saw the very first match, but my brain was like shutting off because I was playing for so long. This time around, things that I would like to see from Team Canada. All right. So if I'm Team Canada, let's pretend I'm coaching Team Canada, and I want to see changes going towards game number 2. You got to draft better. All right. So for number 1, the jungle, all right? I like, if assuming that this guy's jungling again, I don't want to see another Cinderace pick. Because I want to see that your team is not going into the Groudon at a huge deficit. Like, going into the Groudon in the previous match, they were behind in levels, they had objective, like, debatably a worse team comp, and they just caught kind of smashed in the early game. Yes, they did have a few moments when they looked like they could come back, but then even though those plays happened, they still ended up losing their lead. So it's like, I want to see an early game jungle, or I just want to see something that can make more of an impact in the early and mid game versus putting your eggs in the late game Cinderace basket and hoping that it works out. That would be the first thing. So number 1, doesn't have to be a speedster per se. You can also play maybe like an all-rounder, but yeah, speedster, all-rounder, better early presence jungler. That's probably my first thing. Number 2, I think it was this person. I'm not sure. I think this is the person that was playing Darkrai. If you're playing Darkrai, you gotta have more presence. Darkrai only had like one shining moment in that last match, and that was after the entire team got wiped in the bottom lane, where they come back and they play aggressive on the Miraidon, Eldegoss, and I think it was Umbreon. So they were able to get one decent playoff, but besides that, like, the Darkrai pick was kind of useless, which is kind of sad to see because obviously Darkrai right now is known for being a ridiculously strong pick, especially in the early game. So I'm kind of hoping that if Darkrai is allowed through again and they choose to play it, more presence. All right, you can't sit in the side lane for all eternity, and then not really do much for the rest of the match. Those are like the 2 main things that I want to see rectified going into game number 2. And if not, then I mean, like,
deja vu, except it's sweet.
It is what it
first
is.
For Canada. Mega Charizard X will be first up for Brazil. I imagine that's going to be followed by the Mega Lucario. But Blaziken, there is going to be a switch here from Canada. They are looking to detool Ricardo, who was particularly effective with that Blaze Kick. Of course, for me, one of the best moves in the game. Miauri, objective secure, huge amounts of damage onto any Pokemon in any sort of category. It's a real barn burner.
Oh yes, for sure. And having that
okay, so Darkrai is banned this time.
So great for them. They just kept grabbing those objectives. So maybe this might make it a little bit harder for Brazil here,
Okay.
But we do see Hoopa is on the table since they did sacrifice the Hoopa ban. So Canada goes ahead and grabs it for their support player, and Brazil says, we had Blastoise and it worked very, very well for us last game. So let's go ahead and grab that again. And we will see what they come out with. Oh, it looks like we are going.
Oh, a Latias. You know, this is actually the first time I'm seeing Latias in comp, because I don't think anyone played Latias in the Spraggles tournament that was, a couple of days ago.
Canada now looks at these next two slots and they're thinking, we kind of have to pick the Latios, right? I mean, I would not like to see the Eon twins in the hands of Brazil. And indeed, that is the case. Canada takes Latios away from the grubby hands of Brazil, they were very much rubbing them together, hoping. Matilda's going to head into the Zacian. Of course, I think that Hooper pick for me, massive. We will dive back into why a little later. But now Brazil to finish out the core of their team. I mean, they've got the layman's pick of any sort of support that they want. But Wolf is actually going to lean a little bit more into comfort with their Espeon. And Antharas, having lost their Umbreon to the ban from Canada, they're going to take Crustle away from Pikadiff, who rotates onto the Mamoswine.
Oh, what a fun defender to watch for Pikadiff here. The Mamoswine. Brazil with the Espeon just recently, totally not biased at all, just recently got its buffs on that future sight stored power build as well.
Wait, is it Latios jungle?
Go ahead and snag the Crustle from Canada there. I think Pikadiff did a fantastic job there. Had some great plays walling in, some pivotal players from Brazil, and we don't want to deal with that once again.
Uh-oh, you allowed Ricardo to have Leafeon, who's been recently buffed, by the way. Oh, I really like what Brazil's done here again. I have
All right, so just a couple things. I'm assuming it's Latios jungle, just because Weasel or Boozle was jungling Cinderace last game. I'm personally not a fan of Latios jungle, just because of how slow its jungle clear is. However, I think in a 5-stack scenario, or even like a 3-stack, like, okay, if Latios is jungling, what I would like to see immediately is I would like to see the support tag team, support plus Latios, do the first rotation. That's what I would like. I want to see, if Latios is going in the jungle, I want to see support and Latios clearing the jungle together. That way, Latios isn't stuck doing the first jungle clear for all eternity. Because the problem with Latios is that it's not that it can't jungle, it's just that its jungle clear is ridiculously slow. Even by like normal jungle standards. So I would kind of like to see that. Besides that, I actually like their team better than last game, because Zacian is still a solid laner. Miraidon is still, I've said this before, but out of all the attackers, at least lane attackers specifically, I still think Miraidon's the best. So, like, I'll never have a problem with someone playing Miraidon. Mamoswine, the one thing I will say about Mamoswine is that unlike other defenders, or I should probably say, I think it has one of the best early games out of all the defenders. Like, not even just defenders, just Pokemon in general. I think Swinub's laning is probably among one of the best. But in terms of scaling, Mamoswine, I think falls off. So, like, hold on. And this is when it comes to Mamoswine, okay? So it's like I'm a little indifferent when it comes to Mamoswine, because it really puts the pressure on whether or not they can be impactful in the early and mid game. And if they're not, they kind of just like sit there in the late game. But if they can do well in the early game, then obviously that's really good. They just get early game advantages, transition into mid game, and hopefully it's enough to win them the game in the late game. I do like Canada's team much better than last time around. How's it going, Mac, by the way? Welcome to the stream. And then we'll see how it goes. This time around, I don't know. I'm going to be watching the Leafeon. This is the person that I'm going to be watching the most, because I'm going to be watching if Leafeon is able to make that difference for the rest of their team. They kind of have to. Because honestly, team composition wise, I think Canada has a better scaling comp than Brazil this time around.
Does that fit in? It would be the Latias. I think we're still trying to figure out where Latios and Latias fit into the overall picture of Unite. I think one thing that I spot immensely with this Brazil roster is a big lack of healing, which they had a good amount of shielding and healing via the Eldegoss. They actually chose to forego it with the Umbreon, you might remember, looking to prioritize that aggressive foul play build. And so maybe that is confidence that they don't need it, that they can win these team fights just purely on the back of what they've got. Or maybe it is leaning into that complacency that we were talking about earlier. But enough about them. What are we thinking about Canada? Because, of course, they are the ones who have to now reverse sweep in this best of three.
I think Uber is so incredibly.
Sometimes they're weird.
Yes, they are. And I mean, I remember when I started, there was like barely any. And like recently, they've been giving us so much more, which is so incredibly appreciated. But we will be heading into our game two. Canada is once again our purple.
Of course,
team, and
chanting.
Brazil
Well, I thought they had the
again
shittier
are
comp
our
last game. So
This
I
is
can assure you I'm
in
not biased.
memoriam to Dodrio, the very unwilling and unnecessary recipient of a nerf in this match. We will miss you. You were used sometimes. But this Nation has seen a lot of use recently, as has the Hooper. And I agree with you completely. I think Hooper, it opens up so many different opportunities. We'll see whether they lean into the trick, could really amp up what this Nation is looking to do. Then again, what we're Canada looking at or lacking.
Oh, they're still. Oh, my
I'd
bad.
say
Sorry.
rotations to deal with Brazil's overloads in certain parts. And so for me, the hyperspace highway surely has to be opened up.
Yes, for sure. We see up top here, we are.
Oh, I forgot to erase it. That's why.
Can the Leafeon being able to rotate up top early there? Just went ahead and grabbed its red buff. Went up there, but Latios is a big threat. It is up here. It has all of its central path cleared, and we do see a little baby Mamoswine heading up to this top lane here.
Yeah, you can already see there the effects of the hyperspace highway, allowing for those free health resets. Razorleaf goes down, and it looks like that Espeon's going to be the first to find a KO. Wolf with that low Miraidon on bottom path. That's going to be a free score, which Canada is not going to be able to deny. Opens up an early lead then for Brazil, despite the good signs from Canada for the first minute.
Yes, that Hoopa is definitely going to allow them to make.
Miraidon got caught out in the bottom lane, by the way.
Than they might have been able to this last game. Here, I mean, you can see the portal is up. So Zacian, I mean, he could have, if he really needed to, he could have just hopped back on in there. But that was not necessary for him. We will have Reggie Drago on the board here. Miraidon in trouble.
That's the second time Miraidon's getting caught out. So already right now, Miraidon is just having a really bad game right now. At least in my opinion. Like, they got caught out in the 2v1 not that long ago. They come back from base, they go down bottom lane, and now it's a 2 versus 2, but they're still getting caught out.
Mamoswine at its mid evolution. I think that's Pillowswine. There. And Reggie.
So I think the Miraidon has to
down by Brazil here.
work on their positioning a little bit. Why isn't Shan on Team Canada? I'm too toxic, man. Toxic gamer.
Going for it immediately, but now Brazil.
I can't work well with others.
Big ice fang, and you can see
Ooh.
slices through the Leafeon, left to wilt.
Bro, what does that camera work?
In quick succession. It's the Eevee Festival of knockouts and a third KO now for A2. Canada romping back into some sort of relevancy. Here's another Electro Drift through the Crustal that's forced onto the back line. Rock Tomb goes down. Hyperspace Highway will. Oh, they will say Piloswine with barely any health left. Big
Oh.
from this Crustal and Tharos.
Just when you think Miraidon.
Wolf, who spent so long that fight having to run back to where it was. They finally
Just when you think Miraidon is making a comeback, they get caught out literally afterwards.
These teams are wasting no time in getting these objectives here. Reggie Lecky does.
Man is secretly rooting for Canada?
They
No.
decided to prioritize that for this. The big Psychic Solaire, though, from our Espeon with Wolf. 2 KO streak from Leafeon, and we are running on up top. Reggie Lecky did go in, but it didn't look like we got a whole lot of scores from that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because level-wise, Canada have got way more disparity between their attack carries and their supports, whereas Brazil have got a far more balanced roster, and they've also got the lead, but it's only 20 points. And so despite Brazil having the fireworks show on this bottom path, Canada's actually done really well to ensure that they haven't gotten too far ahead.
Yes, for sure. Canada sitting at 81, Brazil at 101. It's a bit of a different game.
Yeah,
from
you're
last week
right.
here at
Rhydon
Canada,
has
showing
4
a much
deaths.
stronger front. Blastoise
Gotta stop
forced to pull
feeding.
back to its berries there. Leafeon trying to fend off this Latios. They're gonna have to be careful. That thing, if it gets enough KOs, it is kind of just a perma. It just scales so well throughout its matches. So we really want to make sure we do not feed that thing as much as possible.
Just want to give credit to Mazo here as well, who Canada looked for the quick rotate to try and punish that Blastoise health bar, saving them somewhat, but position.
Ooh, Latios got caught out.
As well, alert to what was happening in front of them, and well, there's a lot happening in front of this Hooper. Espo forced back, 8 score down for the Blastoise. In comes the Draco Meteor Storm. Electro Drift kind of misses, kind of whiffs and scratches that turtle shell. Mazo ultimately doing more damage with the Hydro Pump. Here comes the big blast from the Eon, not the Eon Blast, sorry, the Mist Blast. Eon Blast, of course, from the Latios. They're able to get out of there, though, Wolf. And here comes now the Blastoise on the front line into the Hydro Typhoon. Knocks up 2. Buys a lot of time for Brazil to get their points down. And that is a zone crack. Really excellent positional play and ability usage from Brazil.
Yes, this Leafeon is.
I think I'm gonna get my blanket after this game. I'm feeling a little cold.
From Canada, if it
I'm
can
feeling cold.
Securing that Reggie
And I have the heater on too.
Once more, we want to keep grabbing as many of those as we can. Reggie is down here. Pikachu just kind of sitting here, seeing if we can get any vision, anticipate when Brazil is coming down, so we can get set up for this Reg Ice.
That Zacian then to be left on top path, but here comes Ricardo and Mazo.
This would be a really good time for Canada to fight, considering 2 people are top lane.
They're just going to leave that T2 to the demise. The Reg Ice clearly more important, or maybe just finding some KOs. Here goes the actual Eon Blast this time, because Crustle eats it, but the follow-up, not so much. That's 1 KO. Can Canada find a second? Yes, they can. It's Eon Twin Violence as the 2 KO streak comes through. 24 score. Hydro Typhoon!
Ooh! Oh my god!
Mazo doing the business. Big old Electro Drift is eaten by Wolf. Here's the Hydro Spin, sorry, the Rapid Spin, I should say, and somehow A2 gets away.
Oh my god.
Twin Violence is the 2 KO streak.
And like that's the so that's like one of the few like downsides to Hoopa is that although you have the flexibility of, you know, ping-ponging your teammates back to base and back to where they were, you still have that small delay before they get sent back to base. Like, they got melted before they could take the portal out. Like,
but the follow-up, not so much. That's 1 KO. Can Canada find a second? Yes, they can. It's Eon Twin Violence as the 2 KO streak comes through.
so there's the Wombo combo right there. There's the Psyshock from Espeon. There's the Hydro Typhoon from the Blastoise. There's the Leafeon Unite move, and there's the Razor Leaf as well. Oh my god, I'm trolling. Like, yeah, they literally melted before the portal took them back.
Word! Obliteration Nation, baby Mazo doing the business. Big old Electro Drift is eaten by Wolf. Here's a Hydro Spin, sorry, the Rapid Spin, I should say, and somehow A2 gets away, gets the KO on the Espeon, but nevertheless, baby Mazo and Brazil continuing to farm EXP from Canada.
And great job to them for keeping their distance for sure, because if that Espeon Psyshock had been any closer to them, they would have been heading on back to the Pokemon Center. We are 1 minute away from Groudon spawning on the map here. Canada at 105 to Brazil's 259. Reggie Lecky.
Exactly, because they can see when they see how much time they have before.
I do think Brazil might be wanting to grab that.
Before they can take, like, before the portal is going to activate. Like, it's a form of counterplay.
But Latios is careful and does manage to get away.
I tell you what, Canada's in this, but not if their Mamoswine is caught out of dodge. Mercifully, they have a very short respawn timer there as they head back into the fight. Nobody willing to take a look at this Regieleki on top half, and Brazil prioritizing placement in preparation for Groudon.
Now, Brazil this is aggressive positioning here. They are sitting here, they're waiting for Canada to get back on board here. Mamoswine is up top. Leafeon is
it me or does it seem like Team Canada like to feed?
And it looks like Canada might be, are we looking at a score? No, not. Oh, Latios is going to be looking for a little back cap here for Canada. Groudon is getting poked a little bit here, and we'll see what these teams are looking to do. It looks like we're
down 100 points on the dot.
For a spot to come in.
Technically, it would be 101 because they would need to at least get that for.
Locked up and ready to go in with the Earthquake, and there's the Ice Fang, and Tharis has to go into the Rebel Rouser rejects button, looking to try and take out the Latios, who unleashes the Eon Blast. A2 takes down the Espeon. The Espeon's gone. Wolf is off the table for another 10 seconds. Pikachu, though, a response.
Oh my god.
What a response from Ricardo.
Oh, Zacian's ripping the objective though.
In pocket. electro drift. Look at Mazo shrugging it off, but the rapid spin will only provide you some sort of relief for a short amount of time. Look at Groudon. Look at Groudon. It's a coin flip,
Oh,
and it's
Zacian
gone
got it.
to Canada. Huge from the Chisel, who looked through the fog and found clarity for his team, but they've still got to score, Miauri.
Yes, they've still got to score here, and we're going to want to play this careful here. Brazil is anticipating this on their tier 1. Crustle is going ahead, and it looks like we might just be backing off from this. We go ahead and just let them get this score in, and so we can sit on that tier 2, have a better chance at defending from Canada here. They are still in the lead, and we've got 20 seconds in the match. Canada is going to have to make a play.
All right, we've got 22 points between the two. 10 seconds left. They're waiting to go on to pad here, utilizing the super jump pad. Psychic Solaire throws everybody off. Down goes Ricardo. Can anybody score? Can anybody
Oh!
score? Big defense from Brazil.
Oh, Hoopa didn't make it in time. They lost.
On the tier 2 on top path was trying to
Oh, man.
run out of time.
You know, this is, I felt so bad for that Hoopa. They were right there with that 50. If they had even one more second, I
2 off. So we've got
ending, backing off from this. We here.
All right, so let's play back from here. All right, we're going to play back on the 2-minute mark just to kind of dissect what was going on in this endgame situation. And then we'll,
Leafeon is heading on.
All right, so going into the 2-minute mark, 259 to 105, we are 154 points down, obviously in favor of Team Brazil. That being said, level-wise,
Latios is going to be looking for
Team Canada is just slightly ahead. Latios is backcapping 54, putting the point difference to 100 exactly.
And we'll see what these teams are looking to do. It looks like we're playing kind of careful right now. We're looking for a spot to come in.
Yeah, they're looking for a secret entrance, but Canada have got all of their windows locked up and ready to go in with the Earthquake, and there's the Ice Fang, and Tharis has to go to the Rebel Rouser rejects button, looks to try and take out the Latios, who unleashes the Eon Blast. 8-2 takes down the Espeon. The Espeon's gone. Wolf is off the table for another 10 seconds. Pikatif, though, a response. Emerald 2-step takes out the Latios. What a response from Ricardo.
So, the problem here is that, like, the team play shifted to the top lane. And because they're focused on team fighting, that just allows Zacian to literally just waltz inside the pit uncontested and just start ripping it. Of course, Crustle and Leafeon are trying to contest, but it is a Zacian. They also have Unite Move as well, so it's very difficult for them to kind of out-secure this. And also, Leafeon burned Unite Move as well, so they don't have that as a tool. They did try. You can see, like, look how low it is. There's the Razor Leaf. And then there's the fast Unite move. So obviously, if you're not maxing or charging the Unite move, as long as you get to tier 1, it's a very quick slash. So, nice secure from the Zacian. They get it.
It's a coin flip, and it's gone to Canada. Huge from the Chisel, who looked through the fog and found clarity for his team, but they've still got to score, Miauri.
Yes.
So now, let's see here, though. So at this point, Mamoswine spawns. So that means Mamoswine, Hoopa, Miraidon, and Zacian all have the buffs. Latios is the only one that doesn't get it because they were dead when the objective was claimed. Still a 100-point difference.
Huge from the Chisel, who looked through the fog and found clarity for his team, but they've still got to score, Miauri.
Yes, they've still got to score here, and we're going to want to play this careful here. Brazil is anticipating this on their tier 1. Crustle is going ahead, and it looks like we might just be backing off from this. We go ahead and just let them get this score in, and so we can sit on that tier 2, have a better chance at defending from Canada here. They are still in the lead, and we've got 20 seconds in the match. Canada is going to have to make a play.
All right, we've got 22 points between the two. 10 seconds left. They're waiting to go on to pad here, utilizing the super jump pad. Psychic Solaire throws everybody off. Down goes Ricardo. Can anybody score? Can anybody score? Nobody can score. Big defense from Brazil.
Hoopa was very close. If they had 1 to 2 more seconds, they would have made that. But because they were racing to top lane from the bottom side, yeah, it was just a little unfortunate.
They were right there with that 50. If they had even one more second, I think they would have gotten that in. It was really down to the wire this match here. Brazil will be taking this first set here today in our America Summit. Let's look at some of the KOs and assists here, as well as our
Okay.
win those to
So unfortunately, Team Canada falls to Brazil 0-2.
the full 50. I mean,
Coming in with a KO on the Venusaur as well.
Then we got America.
Get their score off. It is going to come down to a last-second ditch effort here.
What flag is that?
The Groudon, and finally going to the side of Inu. They have the Groudon buffs.
Oh, and the Regieleki does Marks asleep, goes down to Dark.
There, what a Gale, 5 hunts.
The Sweet Scent and the Recover. Recover can do just so much healing for these teams. We are engaging on
Lash.
very short respawn timer there. As
is heading on home.
Hoopa did have it.
And it looks like Canada.
Unless you're talking about
Oh, Latios
like
is
during the
ready.
counter push,
walked up and ready to go. The Espeon HP left in
because they used it right here. That's the thing.
table for another 10 seconds. Pikatif though, a response. Emerald two-step takes out the Latios. What a response from Ricardo.
Yeah, so they basically united at 115. But if you're talking about for the counter push, no, they didn't have it.
Body off. Down goes Ricardo. Anybody score? Can anybody score? Nobody can score. Big defense from Brazil that sees them win 2-0.
Oh.
Espo on the tier 2 on top path.
Air with making this out right.
All right,
Well, I don't think
so let's go to the next series. Canada falls to Brazil 0-2.
Oh,
Primal is looking at Swedish.
to make sure.
Was Latias a game changer in that match?
We'll go ahead and start resetting. Leafeon coming up from behind though with the Emerald two-step once again. Fanciful Fireworks.
It wasn't a game breaker or anything. Like obviously it had some impact, but I wouldn't go far to I wouldn't go far as to say that Latias is the reason why they won that match.
Coming in with the KO on the Venusaur as well.
Just a amount of
destiny of facing whoever wins this
Okay, Mexico and Brazil. Now it's USA versus Peru. Ooh, we got a rematch, guys. America versus Peru. It's like the World Championships all over again. And then Brazil will face off against the winner of Canada versus Chile.
Lose now. The players are antsy. They want to get into it. And so to start us off...
Oh, sorry. Chile versus Venezuela. Sorry.
States of America.
Chile versus Venezuela is what I meant to say. Oh, they actually are playing the national anthems for these things.
I think it's a little bit less "Oh, say can you see," and maybe a little bit more Foghorn Leghorn. Oh, I say, because look at this team. Zealot, Flareons, Egnu, Metallic, and Rex Meowry. Surely the favorites for the entire thing.
Yes, I could definitely see that.
America!
Flareons with some fantastic Worlds plays here, and I know these are some other awesome highlights.
Okay, be honest, guys.
As well.
I want you guys to tell me the truth. Do you guys know... Any Americans in the chat? Do you guys actually sing your national anthem? Well, I'm not American, so I don't gotta stand. But, you know, out of respect for our neighbors, I'll give you guys a thumbs up, alright? I won't give you a salute, I'll give you a thumbs up.
Flareons for sure.
Like in Pokemon Unite.
Names a lot throughout the Unite space, so it will kind of be a little bit of a fan favorite, I am sure.
And now for the national anthem of the home of the reigning Unite Championship Series winners, it's Peru.
Alright, we got Rex on support, Egnu Bun Defender, Metallic in the jungle, Flareon's in ADC, and Zealot in top. Alright guys, trivia question for you. Whose flag and national anthem is this? No cheating though. Bro, I can honestly go to a rave and jam out to this.
I've got to say, learning a lot about national anthems today. That was an absolute
Imagine.
I agree with Bridget in chat. Right, let's go through our players then. Tempo, Draken, Gohan, Chris, and Yiru. I'm pretty sure that the spine of this team, a lot of viewers of the UCS will be well familiar with. As I say, Miawi, it's the country that currently owns the Unite Championship Series crown. They've got to be confident, even if it is up against
Is there
for certain. One a targeted Mamo ban because of that. But you also have Gohan there, the captain, one of the longest. So I think a really effective pick here for Peru. They do love their Blissey. Means that the likes of Hooper and Elvis.
Oh wait, hold on.
the USA looking an exciting pick here with the Blaziken first.
All right, so it was let's put it this way. So just breaking it down. Darkrai number 1, Miraidon number 2, Suicune number 3, Umbreon number 4, Mega Charizard X number 3. Is that obviously when your first pick, so in this case if you're Team USA for example, you have the luxury of potentially leaving some stuff open to because because your first pick, basically you get your pick of the litter of whatever's left after the bans. I'm a little surprised that they're banning the Mega on their side. Usually, so we've talked about this, but usually it's team number 2 that's banning the Megas, not the other way around. So that kind of tells me that even if it was even if it was available, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would want to play it. Because otherwise, they wouldn't need to invest the ban into it because they have first pick. But that's only an assumption, which obviously could be a completely different reason, or maybe they just didn't want to play it.
I have been shouting from the hilltops since the first year of this game. Please don't change your name so often. We want to know who we're talking about. At least we know the Pokemon that we're talking about. And you're right. I think Blaziken's such a strong start, an aggressive start to this draft. Tempo going with the Zacian, another one of their ace picks. Gohan, the support network on that Blissey, of course, managed to fall through the bans. And so I think a really effective.
Peru is the current world champion, right? That's right.
Means that the likes of Hooper and
That's right.
on the table for USA.
It does indeed.
But none of Peru are on this team.
Grab that and
Or like none of the world champions are on this team.
Y'all are, get to know y'all, and the name changes make it a little bit difficult. But the
Oh.
USA going ahead and locking in the Slowbro pick there. That will be super fun to watch. Peru with the
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like we are hovering over an Alolan Raichu as their damage dealer.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Someone actually, bro, you know how long I've been waiting for this, guys? Someone in their right mind voluntarily chose to play Slowbro. When was the last time I saw Slowbro being played competitively? Even if it is only a for fun tournament. Oh my god, I can't believe it, guys.
Does indeed, and the USA does.
We have a Slowbro enthusiast in the building. I've waited my entire life for this. Someone is finally putting some respect on the Slowbro name.
To know y'all, and the name changes make it a little bit difficult. But the USA going ahead and locking in the
Only
Slowbro
Draken,
there.
right?
That will be super fun to watch. Peru with the Zacian.
I have no idea what that
and
means.
It looks like we are hovering over an Alolan Raichu as their damage dealer, as well as a Snorlax.
Well, thankfully, some of the names have updated, so we can see Egnu, Boar, Reach, and Metallic now, which means the Psychology, and certainly by floating over the Mew, we know that is going to be.
Ooh, the Dodrio Jungle.
Tempo not on the Dodrio. Metallic decided to go for the Dodrio himself. A madman, if I might say.
That is also the slightly nerfed Dodrio. Slightly.
Especially if they are on that Snorlax. Yiru locking in the Urshifu late game. This is certainly a Pokemon that's fallen out of favor in a lot of regions from a lot of
America picking the best defenders, best support, Hoopa and Slowbro.
What version of the water bear?
Ah, so Max a Hoopa lover. I see you, man. Hoopa lover.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can tell with the items that it's running. I honestly don't remember. I believe Full Heal is a specific indicator of one or the other, but I can't specifically remember, unfortunately.
Oh.
I have Urshifu notes somewhere, and I wish I had them in front of me right now.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember the names of the Peru champions. I just know Peru won, but I don't remember their names of the actual team members.
A bit of an upset to a couple different people that I know. For sure. I did not know that it had anything that deserved a nerf, honestly.
I'm putting on my robe, guys. I'm
It was a
cold.
complete stray, to be honest. It was a complete stray. One leg was already taken out, and then the other one was the foot was stomped on, and it's had to.
I'm cold, guys. I'm cold.
Metallic of all players got like Metallic.
Murica.
Defender all rounder, so I guess not.
Go Murica.
For this tournament is just completely.
Who are these anime characters popping in before the match?
New actual proper org team nemesis that's over in the Philippines.
They remind me of like someone I would see from Codename Kids Next Door.
We do see Blaziken and Hoopa moving up that top lane here. Peru has Snorlax helping this Urshifu make sure it gets as much of its farm as it can. They did go ahead and give that red buff to the Snorlax here. Hoopa might
Damn, red buff Snorlax?
collapse on it, forced to use its
Oh my god, that is toxic, bro.
I'm so
Oh my god.
We're going to have to
Get him, Chansey, get him!
Get excited is Metallic. We'll go with that. Oh, okay, so Bora reaches on the Hooper, obviously.
Uh-oh.
So that means
Oh,
that
God.
sorry, the-
Chansey,
We'll figure it
no!
out, folks. That chance
Guys, they made some scrambled eggs with that egg.
Central area, so that invade hasn't really worked out here for Peru.
That is what you call the organic egg omelet.
On the door, we've got a big rotate here for the USA. 3-on-2 on the bottom path. Snorlax going central. Make that 4 onto the bottom path with Eggnoob surfing into the birds. And a very delayed reaction there from Yeru, who is indeed on the solo strike.
Yes.
Already a clown show? That's what you call the Clown Fiesta special, man.
A whole lot has really gone on throughout this first match. Oh, never mind. You know, they just have to make a liar out of me. Dojiro gets some scores in there, and you can see Torchic as well as the Mew here, putting the USA at 46 to Peru's 4 pretty early on.
There's a saying in the industry, Miauri, we say what we see, but sometimes we see it too late, and that's exactly what's happened there. USA going from 0 to 46 in very quick succession. Metallic with a little bit of an invade of their own, and they're able to avoid the clutches of the Urshifu and indeed the Zacian. Slippery Feet, of course, Dodrio still the fastest Pokemon in the game, leaning into the passive. That's where the damage build-up comes through, although how much that'll carry into the late game, we're not entirely sure. Misses out Yeru once again, trying to catch the pigeon. A little bit of Dick Dastardly out there, but are we going to have a bit of Muttley in the middle?
Ooh, Strong's got it.
Matchly effort there from the Snorlax, who was able to take away the Reggie Drago. Better to go to him than into enemy hands.
Absolutely. And you can see, I mean, these teams are playing around each other pretty carefully there. The Urshifu is coming in, and the Dodrio said, I want absolutely nothing to do with
America has arguably the
right
best
here.
Pokemon in the game at each
Reggie
position.
will be spawning in 20 seconds here. We will see where the Reggies are spawning, but really big push here from the USA on
Who
top
says
of
that?
Here. 4 push from Dodrio, Mew, and a couple of others. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of Pokemon here. Urshifu and Blissey just trying to fend off this Blaziken, keep it from getting big scores in, and they do get the KO
Man,
there
this
on that.
Urshifu is not having a good time this game.
I misspoke, not solo.
Not a good time at all. They haven't been able to do anything.
The full heal surging strikes required.
Oh no, Snorlax! I think he tried to stop the recall through the portal. Oh! Oh, Blaziken fumbled that, gamers. Blaziken's fumbling!
Although Zealot on this Blaziken has done really well to
Bro,
to try and capture Yeru into the star they go, and it's going to be Bora Reach who ends up claiming the KO. Although the Raichu continues going really strong work here from this Alolan Raichu. That's going to be a zone crack surely. Only a 4-point overdunk, but it does mean Peru have the lead.
Yes, it does.
Yo, Raichu Gaming over here. Stole the objective, gets the kill, scores.
Look like they might be
What more do you want?
Look for it here in just a second. Yes, I was like, I have my Urshifu notes somewhere, but I just, again, not expecting to see him at all.
If you guys are playing solo queue and your Blaziken gets outsmited, you'd probably look at that Blaziken like, oh my god, I can't believe you missed that shit. You mother trucker.
A moment of reprieve. A zone for a zone, although USA marching on its way with the Regieleki. My goodness, look at Metallic go on this Dodrio. Maybe Timmy was right. USA, though, decide to leave the Regieleki to its demise. A quick rotate up to top path with the aim of taking it down.
Yes, we get that 32, I believe, in the 28. Dodrio getting those little tiny scores in, and we are just able to just get on out of there very quickly. We don't even want to deal with the Zacian and Snorlax at all. One of the Reggie trios will be back up on the board here. The game, I don't really know how to describe this game. We are sitting at the mid game though, and both teams are pretty close. We're kind of objective after objective after objective. I don't know. There's a lot going on here.
Sometimes it be like that. Things are just happening, and there isn't really much rhythm to it. There's not much sense. It's just objectives show up, and then you want to take.
A Regiseal's gonna reset. It's getting pulled way too far.
I cry all the time. I'd
Right.
also be crying if I ate that solar bean, to be honest. That was nasty work. And look at the USA going after Reggie Steele.
Okay, there's a Hoopa Unite move.
Unbound. Euro's here now. Big stun. The slow bean. Never
Oh my goodness. Wait, did they lose the objective again? Oh my god, Raichu's a god.
For that Zacian there, they ended up having to go on back home. The Flareon is such a huge threat on the Mew. I mean, it is just brutal to watch him. Huge power nap defense.
It already happened. It already happened.
On this
I think it happened yesterday, I think, or the day before.
Really excellent power. Sorry, did it just body slam into the blaze kick and then they went through the hyperspace highway? What a bizarre set of events. That was fantastic.
Yes, for sure.
Bro, this must be like this. Okay, here.
Odd things are happening here. Reggie Lecky down bot here does go to the Alolan Raichu.
I don't know about you guys, but if I saw this, I would just feel. If I was the Zacian, I'd be so sad.
I wish a lot of my rank.
All right, ready?
To be honest.
Well, watch what
Cry
happens.
all the time. I'd also be crying if I
And this is why you gotta put some respect on the slow bro, alright?
USA going up. Sensation, boosted auto. But
Oh, wait, hold on.
Unbound,
Bro, imagine being Zacian and you got your pocket Blissey,
Euro's here now. Big
and then literally, like, you don't even get to move. And even with the Blissey Unite move, you're just dead afterwards. Bye, Zacian.
No, doesn't save the station. Boosted auto, and Peru have back-to-back Reggies.
Yeah, that was not quite enough breakfast for that Zacian there. They ended up having to go on back home.
Alright, so the real question is, guys, do you guys think that's worth, though? That's the $1 million question.
Snorlax on this top tier 1 path.
Alright, guys, let me ask you this. If you had the choice of getting 2 kills on the enemy team or the Registeel, which one are you picking? In this case, to be specific, you kill the enemy team jungler and you kill the enemy attacker. So in this case, it's the Raichu or the Zacian. Who do you guys think came out on top? USA or Peru? Peru got the objective, but USA get the 2 kills. And then also Zacian gets a kill afterwards.
The Flareon is such a huge threat on the Mew. I mean, it is just brutal to watch him. Huge power nap defense.
That is, Blaziken keep getting out secured because Blaziken is not focusing on the objective.
Really excellent power. Sorry, did it just body slam into the blaze kick and then they went through the hyperspace highway? What a bizarre set of events. That was fantastic.
Yes, for sure. Definitely some odd things are happening here. Reggie Lecky down bot here does go to the Alolan Raichu, so the USA is going to have to fend that off there. The Blissey from Peru is just up by their tier 2, just getting some, I guess, is it stacking? I would have to go.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I think this is the first time I've seen a well, it's not only Blaziken, but like this, I think this is the first time I've seen a team lose so many objectives with a Blaziken on their side.
We are 1 minute away from Groudon spawning in.
I will say, looking at just the tech of the Dodrio, though, utilizing Tri-Attack and the Razor Claw, it means that Zacian is a little less mobile than it would be otherwise. And so even just in terms of a lockdown tool 1v1, Metallic is playing this really smartly. I've not seen much of their Dodrio. I'm impressed. And as much as I'm impressed with the USA leading, I think I'm even more impressed by just the game management by Peru. Not many points behind. Okay, in fact, half a par with USA. 15 seconds to go to Groudon, and although USA are set up pretty strong,
Bro, this guy lost half his HP with 2 Electro Balls.
That could help him turn the tide.
Yeah, Alolan Raichu is also doing a very good job and has been throughout this game of utilizing the Electro Ball to get vision for its teammates and keep, as you can see, kind of keep the USA from coming in too deep on an objective they don't want them to touch. The hindrance from that is it's really annoying to deal with. Using in the backline, trying to get some beams in. Snorlax starting to engage with a surf here, but it is still moving kind of slow.
We're watching out for that slow beam in particular that didn't quite turn the tides for them in the Reggie Lecky battle. It could be a very different story here with all 10 players within the space where you could throw a blanket over all of them, couldn't you? Chris is going to rotate over the top there with that Alolan Raichu. And I tell you what, USA have placed themselves really well because Yuru is now caught completely out of formation. They're going 1v1 versus Metallic, but they're going...
Oh my goodness! Bro, the map awareness on USA, yo, error 404, man. Yo, they got baited. I guarantee you guys were not paying attention at the fact that they were ripping. You guys are probably like, you know what? Why are they looking at the, why are they not killing their Urshifu? Why are they chasing Urshifu? It was all planned.
Within the space where you could throw a blanket over all of them, couldn't you?
Brother baited them so hard. They all focused their Urshifu, and by the time they looked away, it's like, nope, too late, brother. Too late.
napping huge play as the power nap into the body slam, into the wham bam. Thank you, ma'am, and bye-bye, Hooper. Back to the Pokemon Center for you. Flareon's has darted to the bottom path, tier 2. They're going to dunk 100.
Bro, I can't. If this was, guys,
Completely out.
if this was me, pretend this is a solo queue game, all right? Pretend. Actually, you know what? Pretend I'm like over here. Like I'm just like sitting here, I'm happily minding my own business, watching them do the Rayquaza or like the Groudon, whatever. And then like I see like, you know, 4 of my teammates go this way, chasing their Shifu, because this guy is like a nice, juicy, tender steak, and you guys haven't eaten for like 20 days. And then you guys go chase the steak, but you guys realize there's only one. And then there's like a free buffet right in the middle, but you guys choose not to go for the buffet. Like, I'd be mauling. I kid you not. I would be mauling at the fact that you guys are not looking at the objective. But damn, Team USA, tisk, man. I can't believe it, man. They got debated. Like, even the Hoopa Unite move was late. Like, the Hoopa's uniting... Here, like, realistically, in this team comp, the most important person... Well, not the most important person, but, like, the person who needs to be mindful of their positioning the most is the Hoopa. Because they're the ones that has the capability of repositioning their entire team. Everyone is uniting after the objective is basically already gone. Look at this. Look how low Groudon is by the time Hoopa Unite move goes off. Dodrio is literally uniting in right now, and that's not even in Groudon range. Look at this. Damn, like, by the time Roadrunner finally starts moving their feet, it's gonzo. It's dunzo. It's finito. It's just gone.
But they're going for the Ripperoo! They caught the napping huge play as the power nap into the body slam.
I want you to sit here and think about what America did today. I'm getting my lunch, or I'm getting my brunch, I should say. You guys think about it. USA, they disappointed us today.
What? Wow, that happened so quickly here. That was just incredible. Urshifu over here, seeing if we don't even really need to score. I mean, we could if we felt like it, but we want to keep these buffs, make sure US doesn't get them. We've got 30 seconds left, so I mean, it would be tough for them to make a comeback here. But yeah, I mean, we're just getting thrown up. This Snorlax, Flareon's with a 2 KO streak, but Peru is still in the lead. We've got 20 seconds left.
I'm wondering whether Flareon's even went, like, just the micro decisions. Going for that tier 2 means that Peru know that they have to go top path for the T1 protection, or do they really? Because much like from what we saw in Brazil, with Brazil in our last set, they know that they've got that huge advantage. It's over 100 points. Time's up. Peru nick it at the last.
Yes, they do. I mean, really interesting first game for sure from both of these teams. USA with 306, Peru's 393 here. Peru will be taking the first win of this best of 3 set. Here we see the 5 KOs coming out from Flareon's, 7 on that Alolan Raichu. Raichu is just such a huge threat for these teams. It's able to put out just so much damage.
Yeah, this is... Chris isn't a name that immediately pops to mind when you think of players from Peru, but I couldn't agree with you more. For me, the star of the show, and I think the really astute use of the Electro Balls just for a little bit of zone control, and combine that with Draken on
Guys,
Snorlax,
I was
incredible, basically solo defense on
my
the
mom was
team,
crying.
utilizing the power nap to
She was
buy
crying
more
at the
time.
performance of Team USA.
On this Blissey. Tempo and Euro didn't have explosive games, but they played their parts. It's as you say, it was a really
Next.
listen. Listen. No, oh no. There was a typo on the patch notes.
Oh wait, there was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a typo where they said speedster instead of all rounders. Everyone's like, oh, we knew it all along. We knew it.
Oh, I did see that. I forgot. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna be honest though. This is something that has also become a problem. Well, it's not become a problem. Do you guys remember when Rayquaza was still in the game? Like, okay, so this is like before. Obviously, Rayquaza is like slightly bulkier than Zapdos, but then later on it got an HP buff because they wanted people to... They wanted to encourage endgame team fighting. Endgame meaning the last 2 minutes of the game. I feel like they need to buff Groudon's HP because it's still the same problem. Obviously, unlike Rayquaza, like, okay, a good majority of the time when Rayquaza was taken by a team, a majority of the time the game was probably over. Not all the time. Like, it's never a guarantee. Like, but majority of the time when Rayquaza was taken, most of the time it's like, okay, yeah, game's over. And then like 90% of the time the game was over, 10% of the time a variation of external factors or a variation of different factors were in like played out, and then they ended up throwing, or the enemy team somehow managed to counter push whatever. In this case, when it comes to Groudon, there's more counterplay even if you lose the objective, especially because the buff transfers if you are able to get a kill. That being said, though, you still have the fundamental problem of people flipping the objective, like what just happened in the last game. And despite the fact that there's more counterplay, like I don't like it. I would rather that the objective just straight up be more bulkier, so that it's just not flippable like that to begin with. Or at the very least, it's a little bit more time consuming, I should say. Like, obviously, if you're very desperate or you're just very far behind to the point that it's very unlikely you're going to win a team fight, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to back cap and get back into the game, then yeah, I understand flipping, but it needs to be a little bit more difficult.
If Trainer was here, absolutely.
Oh my god, they let through Mega Charizard.
All along, we knew it.
Oh, I did see that. I forgot. Oh my goodness.
Wow, guys, this is going to be the first competitive Mega Charizard game that I'm watching today.
Absolutely, 100%. But I'm not entirely sure if any of these players are more comfortable on a Mimikyu than.
I can't believe it, Mr. Krabs. I can't believe it.
Looking at the state of what we're seeing on our screens right now, definitely not, because Blissey has been banned from the US, so they have gone straight for the Gohan. Peru have countered with Miraidon, Umbreon, and Mega Lucario, which means for the first time today, Mega Charizard X is on the table, and Metallic says, "Put that bird in the bin. I'm taking up the dragon."
Yes, and if you do take the Blissey away from the support player, they are going to hop right on the Clefable. We'll be
So just keep in mind, guys,
here.
This tournament was very recent, and this was after the nerfs. So this version of Charizard is after the nerfs, not before, because it never would have made it through the bans to begin with. It's still strong though. It's still strong.
From the US, along with Crustle there again, and we do see Flareons go for the Delphox pick.
I am assuming that they are going Fire Spin. I freaking love that. I really do, because Mamoswine and, we're looking at, was it a Focus Band and Slick Spoon Blastoise? That has to be Rapid Spin, I'd imagine, from Yiru, especially as you're rotating from the Urshifu onto the Blastoise. Feels like they're, going to be taking up that sort of chip damage role. And that, the Unite move from Delphox is fantastic CC, not just in terms of damage chip, but also in terms of that hindrance, which slows everybody within the circumference. Interesting to note, by the way, Peru have made a sub. Tempo out, Zinus in, and Zinus...
Now, I will say this. Sorry. Delphox, I actually think is like one of those dark horse picks that actually can work really well, as long as you're not mindlessly blind picking it into a really blind picking it just because. But against this team comp as a whole, I actually think Delphox has really strong potential, because you just literally you outrange everyone except for Inteleon. But even then, you have Frontliner, you have Frontliner, Pseudo Frontliner, and you have Sustain. So realistically, even if you somehow manage to fumble with your positioning, which you shouldn't because of how much range you have, and just kiting ability, this could be pretty difficult for Peru. But I've seen stranger things, so we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see the Charizard, though. It's not very often that I get to see Mega Charizard in 5 stacks.
Going forward, Chris hoping to make them pay, picking up the Inteleon themselves.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting the regional differences for Blastoise.
I was in 5s with
US,
Hoopa.
I don't see them really
I just sent 4 people to try and score at 205, and they can easily get back to Groudon with Hoopa ult.
But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. These other regions are definitely loving that thing a lot. I've seen a little bit of Gyarados.
Yeah, that is a strategy, or that is a play.
Game 2 of the second set of the America Summit here today.
USA still in the purple, Peru still in the orange, and it'll be Catador? Zinus. That's going to be Zinus heading into the central area on that Torchic currently. Really interesting to see what all the hype is about then with Mega Charizard X. In the hands of Metallic, I would trust him mightily. But here goes Draken. It's another invade from Team Peru. I guess they got the sniff that it might have been this Mega Charizard X going into the central area. Denying them as much XP as possible is crucial, but they've not done a great job so far, as Metallic has stolen away one of the Baltoys. Here comes Bora Reach to help out, and now Yato will be on the offensive, just going for the KO themselves.
Yeah, Charmander having to put a little bit of time here on there. Eldegoss coming in to help them with that. And definitely go ahead and grab this red buff if it can, but it just was not able to. Zacian is coming in though for the punish, but it forced the eject away here. And oh my goodness, this little guy is just not going down quickly, is he?
I'm honestly very surprised that
Eventually Zella.
oh, and the Charmeleon died? Okay, I was gonna say before that happened, I'm honestly genuinely surprised that they didn't double jungle clear with the support, because I kind of expected that to happen. Like, a lot of the time, and it's not limited to Charizard, or Charmander in this case, but a lot of the times when you play a weak jungler in competitive, or like even in like just 5s, doesn't matter if it's casual or competitive, a lot of the time when you play a jungler that has like a slow clear or very weak early game, a lot of the time I just usually see someone invading. So I'm a little surprised that Team USA was not more prepared for something like that to happen.
It's one of his specialties. Hydro Pump from the Wartortle, so going in a little bit of a different direction than I was imagining. Those are very low health bars to be going facing up to a zone. Oh wow, the focus ban though in real time action.
They also picked up 2 kills. They got the Charmeleon and they got the
We are 15 seconds
Gossifleur as well.
Being on the map, we are at about 8 minutes now, so we should be seeing a big engage there. Inteleon just barely able to get away from the Crustle there. Regidrago is up, and we are going to be moving into that center area soon, but we do get an Eldegoss and a Charizard on the map. Eldegoss is a cursed mon for me. I just cannot. Something happens every time Eldegoss is on the screen. I don't know.
We took a trip to the south of Texas with that one. That was Eldegoss.
I am from the south, so we try to keep it from coming out, but it does sometimes.
Honestly, it feels like a bit of a Wild West game anyway, to be honest, so I'm all about going the route.
The problem right now, though,
with both of these
is because they have a Delphox lane, not a good laner. But it also doesn't help because because their jungler had a poor start, the bot lane is basically left to fend for themselves until the rest of the team collectively can just buy time. And
I've forgotten the name of it, and now Regielect has been taken for Peru. Nyari, please take over.
Yeah, I absolutely will here. We do see the Inteleon ult come out here. We are really
oh no, Delphox, no!
And Peru's getting some big scores. And do we
okay, this is it. I'm just gonna point this out right now, just because I did say. Right, 4,000. Thank you so much for the Prime and welcome to the channel. Appreciate it, gamer. This right here is exactly what I'm talking about. I said this before the game even started. It's like, I said, and you know, verbatim, I said Delphox has a lot of potential against this squad because Delphox outranges everything except for arguably Inteleon. But the problem is that they're not respecting the guy that's like 2 feet away from him, and then they get caught out. Like, out of all the people, like, okay, so obviously it was a very good play from Yato Like it was the what? The earthquake eject button play. You can see the little poofy animation right here. But then they CC the Delphox, and I think they get Ice Fang too, so they just can't move. And they don't have full heal either. And then they just get caught out. But still, like, no matter what, even with the eject button, you have enough range as a Delphox to ensure that situations like that don't present themselves. But this is a very rough game for USA right now. I still think that they have the team composition to play out the late game, but they can't fall into a bigger deficit. That's the problem. Like, they have to buy their time without feeding more or giving up too much more experience. They have to keep it within within a reasonable margin is how I'd phrase it.
But both sides now, Hydro Pump, and it's also they are going Rapid Spin with the Hydro Pump as well. Quite fascinating as Water Spout, obviously the usual moveset between the two. I wouldn't want to be here if I was Peru, especially with Flareons in the background. But here's the seismic slam. But Metallic uses it defensively.
Ooh.
Chris with a KO onto the
That is a good kill. Very good kill on the Intellion. That's some nice comeback experience on the Charizard. They just got a full level off that, and they are basically going to get another level after that score as well. Yeah, Charizard died, but they got 2 levels. That is big worth.
And now Peru with the counter initiative, looking for an easy score, or can they go for a bigger overdunk with the earthquake, blaze kick? Eggnoob still.
I don't know why they're trying so hard to defend this pad. This to me is just weird.
Are they able to get another score down? Eggnoob, we've got Mamoswine taking down Metallic, ultimately 10 seconds.
Okay, this to me is just like, I'm so confused. So, okay, the fight is pretty much over. Obviously, Charizard's dead. They scored. Let me just kind of like summarize what's been going on here. So, they got some kills. They got some points. The points are less than 100, so that's good. Like they've recovered from that big deficit that they were in earlier. Charizard got 2 levels, so I'll just put a +2 right there. The team fight is over. Yeah, they may have lost, but they can just reset. I'm not exactly sure why the Olsen twins over here are trying so hard to defend this pad in a 2 versus 4, by the way. Like, are they going to activate their Wonder Twin powers? Like, what's the game plan here? It's a 2 versus 4, defender and support. There's no reality where they win a fight here or get a kill as underleveled Crustle support and Eldegoss support. So this to me is just like, pretend I'm the coach for this team. I wouldn't shit talk them during the match, but I would wait for after the match to be like, what the fuck were you guys thinking when you did this? That's what I would say. Because this makes absolutely no sense. And then not only that, like, you have your teammate over here. Obviously, one of your teammates is dead, and the other one's in base. Like, I'm more, like, this is, like, the type of thing where communication, so we need you guys to, like, speed dial on your cell phones. Call your buddy down here, like, go, wee, you know, speed dial this person, speed dial that person, hit them up on your cell phone, text them, email them, be like, yo, guys, you do know you don't have to defend that pad anymore, right? You want to know why? Because even if they overcap here, which is not ideal, but, you know, it would happen. Like, it happens. At least they don't die. And then they would get more farm right here, which is still kind of a dub, but it's, you know, just looking at it from a positive point of view, even though it's not the ideal situation either.
Looking for an easy score, or can they go for a bigger overdunk with the earthquake, blaze kick? Eggnoob still online, finally falls. We got one last defense.
So, like, it was gonna happen regardless, but you give up 2 kills for nothing. It was avoidable. That's what I will say. It was avoidable. It didn't need to happen. You guys committed Sudoku, and you die with no honor.
USA also isn't pushing here. Clefable is dealing with 4 all on its lonesome. Down here, we do have another Reggie that is spawning in, Registeel here. And yeah, just beautiful gameplay from Peru. Snipe shots are coming in, walls are going up, Crustle is punching, Rubble Rouser comes out here, Blastoise, oh, Blaziken is down to the Delphox though. Fanciful Fireworks is on the table, and Blastoise is trying to, oh, Hydro Typhoon in, knocking up the Crustle and the Megazard here, and we are spinning away. Down 2 KO streak from Inteleon, 3 KO streak, just so many.
Okay, let's rewind this and slowly break down what happens.
Do have another
All right.
that is
So USA are contesting the Registeel. They're moving up. Meanwhile, Peru are pretty much postured right here. It is a 4 versus 4. Blaziken goes down relatively early. Delphox goes down early. Delphox's positioning is really questionable. Like, I've never seen a Delphox get Ice Fanged so many times by the Mammal Swine. Like, I don't know why they're so close to the defender. And then literally they just, yeah, they get the Blaziken. That's good. However, you're also getting basically 1v1 by the Mammal Swine, who should not be anywhere near you to begin with. There's the Hydro Typhoon, lands on the 3. Inteleon also popped their Unite move early and also got the kill onto Zacian. Auto attacks the Mega Charizard. So that is a 4 versus 4 for 1. Plus they get the objective too. Like, I think they had, like, do you understand? I think USA has a good team comp to deal with this team, but when it comes to actually playing out these team fights, it's like they're not doing a good job, unfortunately. They have the tools for success, they're just, instead of using those tools to make some art, they're just breaking down a wall right now. They're literally just taking sledgehammers to the wall and just whacking as hard as they can.
On utilizing this Mega Charizard X Meowri to do the majority of that work, big damage output over a wide area, but Peru are responding masterfully.
Yes, they are, and you can see a huge engage here as Fanciful Fireworks does come out early. Delphox being able to utilize its cooldowns on its come down so quickly. Big KO coming in on the Mammoth.
There you go. Okay, now leave. Now leave.
Being forced to pull back here. We want some
Eldegoss. This person just got James Ponded.
We want to be careful. Groudon is on the board in 20 seconds, Relic. What an interesting push there. Delphox can afford to spend that ult a little bit more freely than some of our other mons here, but Flareon's is going to have to go farm that up.
Got some 6-shooter action here with Flareons on this. Delphox really got motoring, didn't they? But there's the X-Scissor, there's the Rock Tomb, and that's Mega Charizard X already caught out, down to 40% health, but the
oh my goodness.
Typhoon catches 4 of them, back in with the X-Scissor, here goes the Fly, the Clefable catches the Eldegoss, it's the first KO, will it lead to a complete collapse? No, because the Blastoise is down, Metallic falls, the Mega Charizard X is gone, Flareon catches out the Inteleon, the ace.
The Delphox got the Inteleon.
With this Flareon, it's a little bit of a magic show, got some Ice Fang down, but the Mammoth Swine falls, and it's an ace for the USA. Groudon to the purple side.
Wow, what an intense Groudon fight here. The USA does go ahead and take that Groudon there. They are going to be looking for a push. Peru is still leading, so they're going to need to get as many of these scores in as possible. Peru is going to have to defend.
Okay, so that's bad because the Blaziken got the Groudon buff, and they're still losing, by the way. Ooh, Crustle was a little too overzealous and got caught out by the Mammal Swine. The Mammal Swine's Ice Fangs have been on point this game.
To one of their most powerful Pokemon. Not great, but they've got 27 Eos energy in that pocket of the Eldegoss. Metallic's taking down the Clefable, and now into the Seismic Slam to 5 in more time. There's the 54! They've got the lead, but they can't counter-score Peru. Another 86 goes down, and they were able to just take a step back, breathe so deep, and then roar back into life with a strategy, with a game plan that has undone Peru and taken us to game 3.
What a game for sure. They came back from that.
Yeah, I told you guys, they had the team comp to make it work. They just had to kind of clean up the play. It wasn't the cleanest team fight, but Delphox actually popped, like, Delphox did what they needed to do at the end.
So fantastic for USA there. Yeah.
So let's go back to the 2-minute mark and see what went down. But I'll be honest. Despite the fact that Mega Charizard got its first win after, how should I phrase this? You know, you don't really see Mega Charizard because most of the time it's banned. I don't really think the Mega Charizard had a lot of impact this game. Realistically, I think it was just Delphox kind of carried the last team fight. I'll be honest. I think that's pretty much just what happened. Okay.
On this Delphox really got motoring, didn't they?
So there's the X-Scissor from the Crostal. There's the Snipe Shot from the Inteleon landing onto Mega Charizard X. They get taken less than half HP. They get the shield from Eldegoss. They're forced to full heal.
And that's Mega Charizard X already caught out down to 4.
Very nice 4-man Unite move from Blastoise. It hit 4 people. It would have hit Eldegoss, but they're in the Unite move animation, so it is unfortunate. The problem is they couldn't finish the job right here. That is the unfortunate part. So despite the fact that Blastoise hit 4, there's no follow-up to kind of secure these kills. And then of course Eldegoss is in their Unite move animation, so they're able to heal that damage as well.
Got a Hydro Typhoon that catches 4 of them. Back in with the X-Scissor. Here goes the Fly. The Fable catches the
There's the Charizard Unite move, Crustle United as well.
No, because the Blastoise is down. Metallic falls.
And then right there, that is a very aggressive play from Flareon's right there. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that, but this guy literally ejected forward in between 3 people to try to get that damage down the Inteleon. They also land the Mystical Fire right there. So, instantly deletes the Inteleon with 2 rotations of skills. And then because nobody can get to Flareon's, he's literally just spamming Mystical Fire and Flame charges.
Wow, what an intense Groudon.
Yeah, Mega Charizard's passive, it consumes HP when you use your Fire Punch or your Flame Burst, whatever.
Peru is going to have to defend like this set depends on it because it does here, and they do get the KO there on the Crustle, putting a buff on that Blaziken, and they might be able to make a pushback with that, or they might just sit on their pads and just try to defend from whatever the USA does.
Forget Loki, this is in the highest key possible.
It was pretty close. Unfortunately, Blaziken, I think, messed up their overheat right here. So look at their overheat. They did not get the angle, and in order to try to get the damage off, they ejected. But they also couldn't, like, they couldn't get the kill either. Like, look at the overheat. So they ejected, they overheated, they landed onto 2, but they just couldn't finish the job. And I don't think Inteleon landed the Snipe Shot either. Oh, they landed it, but they just didn't get the kill. Yeah. In another universe, Delphox would have been dead.
Back into life with a strategy, with a game plan that has undone Peru and taken us to game 3.
What a game for
that being said, I do think Peru managed the Mega Charizard well. I don't think the Mega Charizard had too much impact that game, which is good. So that means they did a decent enough job to make it not that impactful.
USA there, putting them at 1-1 for the first time of the day. We are going to be moving to game 3 after this, after we look at our stats and all of that. Flareon's with a nice 8 KOs there, and Inteleon with 9 on the side of Peru.
Flareon's was unreal in the back half of that game. Such an exciting.
Right, let's fast forward it to game number 3.
Breakout last year in UCL. Not even going to be answering the door to it. Blissey then joins Darkrai from the USA side. Mega Charizard X, Peru were like, nope.
I thought the Mamoswine played well. They were able to consistently get on top of the priority target.
Peru rounding out their ban phase with an Umbreon. So Blissey off the table leads me to think we'll maybe see Bora onto the Hooper. Gohan maybe wanting to lock down the Clefable here. Zealot locking in the Blaziken before we see Tempo taking it. So bye-bye, Zynus. Thank you for joining us. But Tempo is back in town.
Yes, they are. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Clefable again either. Yeah, there it is immediately. Thank you. As I say it, they don't do something different. They did what I said. Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Maridon
advice.
secured on the side of Peru. And then it looks like we're grabbing Crustle and
Okay.
Dodrio once again for the US.
I mean, sure. Okay. It did all right the first time around. Need I remind, the USA did lose that game, but then again, the USA lost that game more down to the decisions in the moment, not because of the composition. Tell you that completely missed me. Suicune got through draft, and Dragon is saying, absolutely, thank you very much. I'm surprised that nobody picked it up earlier. And they're going to be joined by Tempo on the Buzzwole, a direct counter to this Dodrio.
Yes, it looks like Flareon's is hovering on that Alolan Raichu there. Yep, we are going ahead and grabbing that to fill in our attacker slot there, and Bora is going for the Hoopa pick.
Mmm.
Okay, we've got the Mimikyu.
That is
through, and so we're gonna see what it is able to do. I've seen a little bit of.
That is a really annoying team.
It's very, very fun to watch.
I mean, you got your high sustain. Like, this is like your typical like meta comp that you would probably like your typical safe comp for competitive. You got your, high value support. You got one of the longest range characters in the game. You got one of the most annoying laners that are, although it's an all-rounder, people use Suicune more as a support than they do as like an offensive damage dealer. So it's like, quote unquote support Suicune. Buzzwole is just Buzzwole. Buzzwole's always been consistent. And of course, it's really just a skill based matchup, whatever you're playing against. And then Mimikyu is high risk, high reward. Like, Mimikyu is just not something you see a lot of nowadays, because Suicune is, not Suicune. Mimikyu is like high risk, high reward. Although it's an all-rounder, it's kind of frail in the beginning. Pumps out a lot of damage, and it kind of plays like an assassin as well, depending on what moveset you're running. Like, if you're running Shadow Sneak, plays very similar to an assassin playstyle, where you are just consistently trying to get your resets or just pick someone off with your long range, your long range skill. But if you're playing Shadow Sneak, not Shadow Sneak, Trick Room. Trick Room is different. Trick Room and Play Rough or Shadow Claw obviously is just dependent on numerous things. Like here's the thing: when you go Play Rough, you have higher, just more upfront damage, but you also get a little bit of safety as well. Shadow Claw, on the other hand, is slightly, very similar range, but it's a little bit more brawly, because you have to get up close and personal to your targets to consistently get the damage off. 5%. Oh, wait, sorry. I was reading the chat. It can take a few hits now? Yeah, this is after the Mimikyu buff as well. This tournament, it took place after the buff, so yeah, Mimikyu is a little bit different now. Blaziken, obviously solid top laner. Crustle, same thing. The Dodrio is replacing the Charizard, because obviously Charizard is banned. Hoopa, obviously consistently S tier support. And then Raichu. Raichu has fallen off a little. Naturally, it got nerfed a couple of patches ago. But still, this could be said about a lot of Pokemon, guys. But all Pokemon can have play, granted that the situation calls for it. Alright? Like, before, people would play Raichu, blind pick that, insta-lock that, because it was just that strong. Now, you don't see people insta-locking Raichu anymore, just because it's gone significantly nerfed. But if you are able to draft accordingly, or if you see a draft that allows you to play it, it can still be played. It's not like, once a Pokemon gets nerfed, it's never playable again. That's obviously not the case. You just have to be a little bit more mindful of when you pick certain things.
With its, I believe it's like infinite dashes that it gets within that trick room space.
Yeah.
Super fun. But could be running the other
5% damage reduction at every level from defenses and like 500 more HP.
Super interesting to see a lot of all-arounders on the side of Peru.
I look at this USA roster, Miari, and I don't see a lot of health bar. I see the Crustle. Everyone else is at a significant risk if that Mimikyu lands a Shadow Sneak and then follows up with a Shadow Wait and Raichu. And that can play Menace with a... USA failed with that last time in game number 1. It's time for a run back here in game number 3.
Looks like we are going to be pausing for just a second here, as we do deal with a little bit of technical difficulty here. But, like we said, the Flareon's
Hold.
on the Alolan Raichu. Whenever you're playing the Alolan Raichu, you do not want to see that Buzzwole. Mimikyu can definitely be a pretty big threat. I feel like it hasn't been as in the meta lately, or maybe people just are bored and don't want to play it as much. But I haven't seen a whole lot of play with it, but it is very, very threatening if it's able to just dive in on you like that. Suicune does have the XP share on, so they might be running it as more of a tanky support IV build here, and as well as Resonant Guard, as well as Cursed Incense.
Yeah, no, it's 100% support Suicune, especially Draken. They're going to be building that like a fortress wall. Their main game plan will be slows and set up for speed. Again, this is... and I'd be surprised if they do move away from that, because the Electro...
Okay, so the game's on pause.
Strong for just...
Now we're going to game number 3.
Well, all sorts, and especially for a dive comp like this with Peru, with your Mimikyu and with your Buzzwole, they like to get in close. Yeah, it feels like a more defensive and conservative Raichu approach would be the way to go. Then again, this is Flareon's, and I've never known him to speak the word defense, let alone do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It really depends. I think Electro Ball is so valuable in these competitive settings here, but our little Dwebble is in a bit of trouble down bot lane here. It is down with Alolan Raichu, with Clefable and Miraidon as their lane nemesis there. Dodrio is in the central path for the USA. Mimikyu on the side of Peru in that central area. Buzzwole grabbing farm as much as it can, and Dodrio does get a pretty...
I was literally just about to say, if you look at the levels, you can tell top lane is getting bullied, but
just 1 minute in,
Metallic was able to capitalize on the fact that they were overextending.
Let's deny it from accessing those real nasty moves they drop. But here's that Shadow Claw. Oh my
Ooh, baby. The super power.
Again, 19, 18, and 5 go down. Quick scores from Peru into a quick lead of 46.
They are at 46 here. 8 minutes 30 into this match. We are grabbing what farm we can. 30 seconds until the Reggie Drago is on the board here as well. Alolan Raichu pulling back away from Miraidon. It is running that Electro Ball set, like you said, very, very valuable in these comp spaces, and with the dive potential from the side of Peru, we want to keep them from getting into our damage as much as possible here.
Big rotates from both sides, but the USA can do more than Peru on the top path than Peru can do on the bottom. They're running full health bars. Here goes the Shadow Seeker to the backline. Shadow Claw doesn't quite get Bora. They're looking now with Zealot going through the Hyperspace Highway with Bora. And Metallic with the tri-attack sees that huge Mimikyu threat dispelled. They've got an eject button here by a Chris on the Miraidon, who's not able to do much else there, but great respect from Metallic as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, right. So it is a 3 versus 1 up until Mimikyu shows up. I think the Mimikyu kind of... Well, not kind of. Like, they tunneled a little too hard on the Combuskin and the Hoopa. So they landed the initial Shadow Sneak, and obviously, they're still trying to focus number 1 and number 2. The problem is that they kind of forgot the fact that Dodrio was right here. Or maybe not forgot, but they didn't respect the fact that Dodrio was still there scoring alongside the other two. And because they tunneled, focusing on these guys, this just allows the Dodrio to take advantage of the fact that instead of walking this way, like they could have literally just walked backwards or, walk to the right towards their home goal. That could have been the end of it. But instead, they go for the higher risk option of trying to get kills. And then not only do they not get the kills, but they're already less than half HP. and then that just allows Dodrio to take advantage of that fact and just play aggressive, despite the fact that, you know, the rest of their teammates are taking the portal out and Buzzwell's still there.
They're looking now with Zealot going through the hyperspace highway with Bora, and a quick response from Metallic with the tri-attack sees that huge Mimikyu threat dispelled. They've got an eject button here by a Chris on the Miraidon, who's not able to do much else there, but great respect from Metallic as well. They've got value, they disengage, they're not looking to give any XP unneeded over to Peru.
Yeah, the Dodrio was getting thrown around just a little bit there. Mimikyu is coming in, trying to come in on this Crustle if it can, just clawing it up here, having to pull back to pad. 11 seconds until the Reggie spawn on the map, and Reggie Drago has been lonely wandering up and down the map. Blaziken pulling the Buzzwole onto pad, but they do manage to get away. Oh, nope, never mind.
Ooh,
Nope, yes,
they
do.
know.
Never
Wow.
mind.
Don't
Got it
doubt
for Miran.
Metallic. Honestly, single-handedly proving Timmy correct with these recent patch notes. On bottom path, though, Peru have been getting to work. Reggie Alecki on its bike, down goes the charge beam into Bora. Still a decent amount of shielding from this T1 zone, and here comes the Electro Ball now. We got Blaziken taking that Reggie Steel, which will help with the defense big time.
Wow.
Metallic slices and dices his way through one. Doesn't quite have enough health to have the confidence to go for a second. Instant 3 goes in. X Scissor. Gohan's going to retreat. Mimikyu won't get any score down, and now for the potential rebuttal here with the USA. They've got 4, but here comes the Suicune with a KO onto the Crustal. But that's
The
about
Dodrio is really
down, and finally that Miraidon will be able to call the base safe, but not before the USA did the damage dealt.
I can now determine with near 100% accuracy how my game will end up, solely based on the pre-game decisions of my solo queues. Seeing some wild shit. You know what they say, there is a hell on earth. It's called Pokemon Unite. Specifically solo queue.
USA is leading a little bit, but not a ton. Not anything that Peru wouldn't be able to come back from at all. Both teams still have all of their pads up as well. I mean, we are playing it careful here. Looks like this top tier one is set up for a great overcap, but Buzzwole is not going to let that happen if they can.
The Dodrio is really putting in work this game. And that's the difference between having a jungler that is early game and mid game oriented versus you take 20 years to scale into something that can potentially be relevant.
Because Bora's on that Hooper, it's able to bring all of the reinforcements that they can down to the bottom path. USA actually
not only that, it's just a mind game as well. Like, even if the jungler is not there, something like a Dodrio that has high burst damage, high mobility, and you don't see them on the map, you always have to respect the fact that they could be nearby.
Go ahead and trigger those electro balls a little bit there. Looks like Peru wants this objective. They want to get the Reggie Lecky once more. Hoopa is calling for its teammates to come down as the engagements begin. Rings unbound here. Reggie Lecky does go to Peru. Buzzwole's coming in, but Crustle is not having it here as the Thunderstorm Aerial does come out from Alolan Raichu. Huge plays. 2 KO streak from our Crustle. Peru is being forced on back to their pad as the US kind of turned that around for themselves.
The Crustal cake is still as delicious as the day that it dropped in the game, I'm telling you. That X-Scissor is outstanding, but the charge beam, oh my word! Like a satellite orbit cannon slicing through the land as it goes. 2 KO streak, huge crash onto the T1, triple trample that catches 3. Come play with me, says Yuru, but it's simply too much. The defense, Metallic is absolutely insane. Peru scared away by the 3-headed bird.
You know, that is completely valid. I think Metallic definitely, like you said, showing why this thing deserved all of its bans. Blaziken coming in hot on that bot tier 1 pad, though. Dodrio looking for some farm or some KO that they can grab here. Crustle might be in trouble as Suicune does get a really great freeze off on it. Crustle does end up going down to the Miraidon. No surprise, we are 1 minute away from the Groudon. These teams are just brawling it out here as Hoopa does end up going down to the Buzzwole as well.
The Crustal X is, it's basically the League of Legends stop block, but at home. Now we've got a 1v1 Metallic.
Ooh! That is a huge 1v1 for the Mimikyu. They just got a huge influx of comeback experience.
It's all about the Buzzwole, baby! Through the ropes, through the ring, and the couple of USA players there are going to be looking at...
And that's just the thing you gotta be careful of. When you were one of, if not the highest level in the game, those deaths... The deaths that you accumulate are significantly more impactful because of how much experience you give away.
The Groudon, though, which will be spawning in 10 seconds. Both teams are getting set up here. You can see Clefable kind of out here, seeing if we can bait out something a little bit. Oh, Blaziken coming in, though. That Buzzwole might be in trouble. No, they are not here. They're coming in. Crustle having to eject away from it here. And we are pulling back, though. Blaziken poking at the Groudon. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on, but we are playing this as carefully as we can.
That's a massive cooldown now on that eject button as well, aggressively or defensively. Eggnoob has his hand tied behind his back. Wow, Mimikyu's gone back to base. Was that a little bit hasty? Back into the center. You've got the Thunderstorm aerial, the Super Sword Slam takes down the Blaziken. The USA's main damage dealer is out. Crustle is out. They weren't even able to use the Rubble Rouser. And Metallic's triple barely did anything. Peru looking for the potential Groudon rip here.
It's a 5 versus 3.
They're still here. Watch out.
It is a 5 versus 3.
Watch out for Flareons, they're still here. They've kind of stopped the rip. And they're going to cost them. It's anybody's guess. Shadow Sneak misses, but look at that. They've done it. They've done it. Peru have weathered the storm.
They have indeed. Suicune getting the secure on that Groudon, 216 to 177 here. Peru needs to get these scores, and Buzzwole getting them up on that top tier 2. We are split up here. Oh no, never mind. Yes, they did. They got something in here. As we are just kind of trying to defend from Peru right now. We've got 30 seconds left, though. We're gonna have to do something pretty quick if we're going to do anything at all.
Yeah, they have to focus on defense first, really. They've got to take down just anybody from Peru, and that they have done. There goes the Buzzwole, but the USA are losing defenders left, right, and center now.
No.
Here's another score going down. The salt into the proverbial.
Yeah.
Metallic will get some scores down the other end.
Unfortunate.
Enough. The favorites for the America Summit have been sent tumbling through the trapdoor. Peru, the home of the UCS Ravens.
Was Team USA out of position for Groudon?
A little bit. Oh,
We can play it from right here.
Seconds. Both teams are getting set up here. You can see Clefable kind of out here, seeing if we can bait out something a little bit. Oh, Blaziken coming in, though. That Buzzwole might be in trouble. No, they are not here. They're coming in. Crustle having to eject away from it here. And we are pulling back, though. Blaziken poking at the Groudon. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on, but we are playing this as carefully as we can.
That's a massive cooldown now on that eject button as well, aggressively or defensively. Eggnoob has his hand tied behind his back. Wow, Mimikyu's gone back to base. Was that a little bit hasty? Back into the center. You've got the Thunderstorm aerial, the Super Sword Slam takes down the Blaziken. The USA's main damage dealer is out. Crustle is out. They weren't even able to use the Rubble Rouser. And Metallic's triple barely did anything. Peru.
See, the problem is that Blaziken and Crustle both die.
Wow, Mimikyu's gone back to base. Was that
Like, Blaziken got like, okay, so here I can kind of just...
Eggnoob has his hand tied behind his back.
So Blaziken, despite the fact that they want to kind of brawl, they are not respecting the Buzzwole because they're walking so far forward. Keep in, like, okay, the Buzzwole's right here. Like, let's pretend Blaziken is right here. They're basically like a few feet away from the Buzzwole. And then it allows the Buzzwole to take the initiative. Or, you know, they can make the proactive play and just engage on them. Which is basically what happens. So all you guys gotta do is focus strictly on the Blaziken. The Blaziken's walking up, there's the Focus Blast, walks up, literally gets smacked down by the Buzzwole. There's the superpower right there. Takes them to less than half HP. Literally followed up with the Buzzwole Unite move, and Buzzwole just deletes them instantly. And that's one of your, like, keep in mind, Blaziken in this team composition is one of your major damage dealers, but also kind of one of your frontliners as well. Because the only other person that can frontline is the Crustle. Like, you're not gonna frontline with Raichu, you're not gonna frontline with Dodrio. Hoopa can pop their Unite move, but that's only gonna buy you so much time. Okay, there's the Smackdown superpower from the Buzzwole onto the Crustle. And then, of course, it's a 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3.
Watch out for Metallic, they're still here. Watch out for Flareons, they're still here. They've kind of stopped the rip, and there's going to cost them. It's anybody's guess. Shadow Sneak misses, but look at that.
It was a good try from Hoopa, but not enough damage.
They have indeed. Suicune getting the secure on that Groudon, 216 to 177 here. Peru needs to get these scores, and Buzzwole getting them up on that top tier 2. We are split up here. Oh no, never mind.
What is this? This is
They got something in here.
It is called the America Summit. It was a grassroots tournament that was.
30 seconds left.
It is a grassroots tournament from 2 days ago.
Do anything at all.
Yeah, they have to focus on defense. defense first, really. They got to take down just anybody from Peru, and that they have done. There goes the Buzzwole,
Oh.
but the USA are losing defenders left, right, and center
Oh,
now.
no.
Here's another.
But it's funny, it's called the America
Soloq
Summit,
to
but there's more
defend
LATAM teams than there are American teams.
The other end, but it simply ain't enough. The favorites for the America Summit have been sent tumbling through the trapdoor. Peru, the home of the UCS reigning champions, are into the upper semifinals.
Oh, yes, you know, little desperate scores from the Dodrio at the end. It just was nowhere near enough. 244 to 579. Peru will be taking our second set of the day here. We do see Metallic with huge 5 KOs there. The Suicune kind of a really heavy hitter there with 3 KOs and 13 assists as well.
What did I say? Draken is not to be trifled with, and that support Suicune continues to be as influential.
It really is too bad though, because I thought Dodrio played really well that game.
To Yuru and tempo, not necessarily for their overall damage output or even just their pure stats, but more from how they fed into the team. Yuru rotating like he was on the Urshifu, but this time could actually buy a lot more space for himself because the Shadow Sneak is a move, of course, that extends its range.
Beginning of our bracket, it should be a good
Oh
one.
my god, Canada and US are in the losers bracket.
So excited to see
I
what
can't believe it.
nations have
I
first.
can't believe it.
This is such a fun format. I love getting to highlight all of these North American, Central American, and South American players. It's so much fun and super grateful to.
Okay, let me be more specific.
Season starts.
I feel there's more Spanish teams than there are
So soon. But another thing that we've personally been enjoying
anything else.
is the wonderful array of national anthems. It's actually a lot of fun to learn about these new countries. Here's some absolute bangers. And so next on the playlist, it's time to rise for the national anthem of Chile.
We are renaming it to the consolation bracket now. Wow. Who? Draco Viri Tinta Attitted and Ikigai. I don't know any of these people. Who are these guys? Wait, is my sound? Oh my god, did the what's it called?
Going to look to lean into.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll be.
I think it was just me. Oh, it got copyrighted.
Right off the
Their anthem got copyrighted?
convention.
Oh my god, that's
Picks,
crazy,
I
bro.
feel like some of those supports and like pseudo tanks aka Suicune, are safe options no matter what, even if you're a little unfamiliar with what the other team is cooking. But we shall find out, I think, here shortly. So excited to see, especially with the recent patch and how that has actually shaken up the meta quite a bit more than I had initially expected. So it's been fun to watch it develop over the weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, feel free to listen in to Underdunk, Overdunk, your favorite competitive Pokemon Unite podcast, and indeed, feel free to watch Underdunk, a fantastic tournament. Those looked very strong. Teseo is going to move up into that top spot, and it'll be Snorlax heading to the bottom path.
Yes, Snorlax, old, reliable for sure, and kind of excited to see this Miraidon come out. I do feel like the attacker spot is in a bit of an interesting position. We have seen kind of a resurgence of that Miraidon. It's never really been bad, I would say, with that range from that Charge Beam moveset, but is also a really great counter to that Darkrai, who is, of course, off the board right now, but does get some extra value there. Meanwhile, Venezuela can be locking in the big bug Buzzwole and another little bug, Crustle.
Crustal's been having a lot of good looks today as well. But I'm not surprised to be Renzug locking in the Clefable to immediately counter the threat of both of those Pokemon. A lot of Blastoise too as well. So a key guy will be looking at that Blastoise. Are they going to go Rapid Spin, Hydro Pump, or
The
whatnot?
Latios and
Venezuela
Latias
coming
combo.
in with the Eon Twins. I've not seen these two in competitive Unite together yet. I am scared for Chile that we see it now.
Yeah, I'm so stoked to see this combo come out.
I think the one thing about this draft is like, I'm personally not. So if they're planning on using Blastoise as a quote unquote offensive component of their team, I'm not a fan of them picking that into Buzzwole because Buzzwole is known for being a quote unquote counterpick to Blastoise. So there is that. Like these three are fine. Like these are pretty much safe, staple Pokemon in their respective roles. Um, re if I'm using like I'm very on the fence about Blastoise as a whole. I haven't really seen Blastoise have too much impact in a lot of the matches that I've seen Blastoise played in. So I don't know. It's still gonna be there's still gonna be a frontliner through and through. But when it comes to supplementary damage, I feel like it might be a little lackluster against this team as well. Like you have a Crustle, you have a like the Blissey, not only just them, but the fact that they could just pocket someone else, which I would hope is either the Latios or the Buzzwole, bare minimum. If they lock in the Mimikyu, that might be
Chile obviously has a
okay. So they do lock in the Mimikyu.
bulky team composition, rounding it out with that Mimikyu and this.
You're gonna see sick transportation plays.
They are gonna be really.
One of my favorite things is just like
But I kind of do believe in the burst.
just recalling and levitating back to
Some teams use it as
the
player,
lane that
some
I'm laning
teams
in.
are just not wearing that EXP share.
It's like
Who was
a
gonna win
built-in
the
hoop of
central
portal
area
in a
for
way.
Venezuela? I would imagine Latios, but it's going to be fun to see how they use that double passive to teleport to one another throughout this game.
I might run both in the central area. I mean,
True.
it's because of course with that passive, the more farm you can find, the better, right? I mean, late game, if you're able to have a
Yeah.
successful farming phase throughout the
That's
entire game, and of course you're picking up KOs as per standard, that Eon and Mist Blast can be just.
I mean, if they burn if they first ride on the burn eject button,
Chile, the likes of the Snorlax, especially in
then that could set up for some
and
Rock
the
Tomb Crustle
Blastoise,
plays.
especially in Hydro Pump. But that's kind of the game plan set for Chile. I'd be looking to invade as much as possible to deny that farm.
Invading is an extremely strong strategy. I will be interested, to see if anyone is trying to sneak into that central area on the enemy side. But here we go. It does look like Latios is going to be taking this jungle path for Venezuela in this first rotation.
Yeah, and I guess that makes a lot of sense. Running with the Crustal on that EXP share, it means at the very least that they're going to be ahead levels wise, and so that kind of counters the lack of Eon power that they will be accruing once they hit level 5. Although that does mean that Chile here, with that Snorlax and Maridon bottom path, obviously going to be a lot more confident in moving forward. A Hadron engine already down, looking to boost the attack. Not looking so great on the top path though. Venezuela, with the majority of the EXP, slap little too early there. Really good awareness from Chile, and they're able to almost hit level 5 already with that Squirtle.
Yeah, some good
Oh,
late
it's
game from both teams so far, but it does
So it's worth
look
pointing out that the
more evenly
Latias on the
around
side of
on this
Venezuela,
top path for
they're
the
not
first rotation
supporting.
of
They
the
are
spawns. Mimikyu is ready and in position to, I'm sure, jump
a
on
quote
top
unquote
of all of
another
these little guys,
area, I
trying to scare them
guess.
up for their team, because both sides
I don't
do
really
have
know how to
some
label
pretty
Latias
good
as
supports with
considering
them, actually.
they're
There's not a lot of damage
technically a
done because of the
support,
Moonlight.
but
It's much more timely for Chile
nowadays
than it
it's
was for
very common to
Venezuela.
see
Going for the
this
chase down, though, and
Latias.
that Fable was left a little bit wanting. In goes Mimikyu with a Shadow Claw, and a quick response sees the Buzzwole fall, going after Shintaro on the Latias. No! How
Oh!
much
Oh!
no health bar as in goes the War
So
Turtle.
close.
Evolves only to fall. 3 scores for Venezuela on the Chile pad.
Nice work from that Latias, using the passive ability to teleport to their friend, their twin Latios.
That is a huge influx of experience going over to Latios, though.
Bottom path, though, for this next
Like, they're
set of
basically almost about to hit, like, they're about to hit level 7 before clearing their second rotation of jungle.
This Blissey. She definitely could have gone either way, since they do have quite a bit of poke damage, probably from that Maridon. Yeah, he is the charge beam build, but instead gonna opt for that extra hindrance resistance with Safeguard.
It feeds into a lot of passives, though, whether you're looking to help the Latios or Latias get through that farm, whether you're looking to help the Buzzwoles Gauge move up through the gears. I think that's a pretty smart and actually a little bit of a left field choice, as is the Trick Room coming out here from Nixo on the Mimikyu. Got Venezuela coming to town, though.
Ooh, Snorlax got it. Snorlax got it, but they died, so they lose the buff in the process.
And now here comes the return. The charge beam slices.
Wow, look at the Maridon damage and the range.
Chase with barely a health bar to speak of on a 2 KO streak too. Venezuela find the third through the Latias. But here goes a Snorlax. The slam can't deny the first 20. In goes a 12 from the Crustal. It's a 6-point lead. It is a toss-up of a game. Exactly what we were expecting, Bridget.
I am loving these skirmishes, these fights we've seen so far. Venezuela looking really strong, moving as a unit. We do see the spin come out from our Blastoise. All members of Chile have come to this bottom path. Meanwhile, Buzzwole is going to stay up top for Venezuela, try to get some farm. And Chile has gotten this Regieleki super low, does get the secure with that big spin from Blastoise.
Did you see that? They got the lock both locked onto the Mimikyu with their various blasts, and it's gone.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so Blastoise gets it. Is frontlining. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Mimikyu was at full HP when that happened. Okay, they're basically at like 95% HP. Then the double unite move from the Latios and Latias. Oh, you can't even react to that. Legit, like the only way that would have not happened is if Blastoise is fast enough to CC them before they get their unite move off. That is literally the only way. Oh, I muted the sound. I'm like, what? Where did my sound go? I was so confused.
Both locked onto the Mimikyu with their various blasts, and it's gone. Left to dust, but they can't move forward.
Oh, Latias gets the kill on Rhydon too. Nice.
KO, but the health bars of the rest of the team mean that they have to focus on defense with this Regieleki. Not going to hit the bottom pad. On top path, another stack here for 3-3 on this Buzzwole. So despite all of that, despite the successful team fight for Chile, Venezuela still with the lead, both points and level-wise.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the coordination from our Eon twins. If you hit the same target with your Unite move, I believe it does even more damage. So, not surprised to see that Mimikyu get KO'd so fast. I truly didn't even see it, if I'm being honest. It was so fast.
Come Play With Me eventually leads to the Blissy's demise. The Super Soul Slam kind of wasted, but only because the Blastoise went in with the Hydro Typhoon themselves. That Hydro Pump going to secure the Reg Ice, and the Trick Room leads into the Buzzwole, eventually falling via the Mimikyu. This is going to be difficult to defend this pad, even with the Eon Twins as powerful as they are. Very squishy health bars. In the face of 4 very powerful, very tanky Pokemon, it's going to be difficult. Here comes the Draco Meteor Storm just to do a little bit more chip, and buy time for Chile to retreat. 6 points now the lead is reduced to.
Yeah, really great defense out of the side of Venezuela. Chile did not want the smoke or the risk of pushing that tier 1 goal zones. In fact, we have all of our goal zones still up on the board at this point in the game, but Rhydon does not stay up for long. Venezuela getting the KO on that legendary electric guy, and Venezuela going to be making a push of their own.
Damn.
That Blastoise HP bar gone from the dueling Unite moves of Latios and Latios.
We're halfway through the game, by the way. It gets worse from here. The Bliss Assistance has been utilized, and that's a really good bit of timing because Chile was looking to bounce back in a big way. Here goes the not the Super Swole Slam. In fact, it's a Super Swollen leg or something. I don't know. Bruises everywhere because Chile is throwing hands, and Venezuela kind of not going to do much here. The first zone goes down. It goes to Venezuela, who in turn, by proxy, take the lead. Rubble Rouser utilized.
These guys are going to have a really tough time with, like, okay. The good thing right now is that despite the fact that the game is going the way it is, Latios is still having difficulty getting levels under the belt.
Fight after fight with both of these teams.
But Chile are going to have a tough time getting on top of this Latios with the rest of the team nearby. That's the issue.
Chile more successful in that regard so far, but Snorlax is coming in to Bush check. Immediately heavy slams out. Didn't think he was finding.
Okay, it is a 5 versus 5. Mimikyu is here now.
Renzak is putting down a lot of heavy lifting with the Moonlight, who got a big Hydro Typhoon yet again. That Mimikyu, no chance. Wait, never mind. Wow! What a hero moment from the Clefable, who blocks the shot. They've got the Regieleki, and now the Blastoise is on an absolute tear. 3 KO streak. How about that? In with a rapid spin they go, and Shintaro's gonna fall. A 4 KO streak for Ikagai on this. Blastoise eventually felled by Akashi's Latios.
Wow, I've been impressed with this Blastoise player throughout the game, but as if I needed more reason for the respect. 4 KO streak for that pseudo all-arounder. Technically a tank, but not in this game. He is ripping out so much damage onto Venezuela. It's hard for them to deal with. I mean, they may only have one attacker, but Latios is basically an attacker in this game, which makes for a pretty squishy comp. It can be hard to stop the likes of that Blastoise if Buzzwole isn't there ready to pull him out of that spin.
And especially with Blissey going with the helping hand build, it means that they're not leaning into.
This is where it gets a little tricky, just because if you're on like Team Venezuela right now, you have the tools for success, but also
so if you're not able to do the business early, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Speaking of rock, Regirock secured.
You're like, okay, here's the thing. If you're on the side of Team Venezuela, you're not down by a lot of points, but obviously you are, no matter what, technically you're down points. So you're the ones that are responsible for making the proactive play. Like, if it came down to a battle of time, time is just not a luxury that some people have when playing the end game. So it's really going to come down to a team fight. If you try to go for the objective, like, they don't have the rip for that. They don't have reliable secure. They don't have the rip either. So it's either going to be someone backcapping or a team fight breaks out. And obviously whoever wins is most likely going to win the game.
Remain behind in points, but that Latios has now hit level 14 at Groudon. Chile are going to be fortunate and happy that they've got a level 14 for themselves. It's the Mimikyu, but jumping in perhaps a little too deep into the waters.
Like, look at the damage coming out from Latios, though. That is huge damage.
Hit as well. That's really not great as Chile is forced back and Venezuela can take up position.
Yeah, Clefable able to heal up all of that poke damage that's been able to come out from Venezuela. Look at those little balls. I don't know what it's called coming out from the Eon Twins. They're doing so much damage.
Oh my god, they got him!
Night move gets him off the board. No Latios for this endgame fight.
And they've utilized the Mist Blast, of which Renzook was the bodyguard yet again. This Clefable don't need a Mega Evolution.
Yeah, Latios getting picked off. Latios being the first one dead is like insane. But Buzzwole was able to compensate and get the Miraidon, so that's huge.
Who's going to come back online momentarily. Chile looking for that final KO, but this Buzzwole keeps on going.
Latios is back. They got Levitate too.
Gets that KO. 2 KO streak, but Latios is back.
Oh no, Latios.
From the Groudon, not going to hit anybody. But look at this Mimikyu going after, harassing the Blissey, and now it's just the Eon Twins left. There's not much of a health bar here between the pair of them. Here goes the Eon Blast. Another block on the Eon Blast, this time from Teseo. Incredible work positioning from Chile. Eventually the Snorlax falls, and this is still going, Bridget. They're going for a score. 100 points. 100 points.
Oh my, they need the Groudon now. They don't have the time. They need the Groudon and they gotta secure it too. They're running out of time. They just gotta focus the objective.
Wants the big Dawn in the center of the map, but Chile really won't let them get close. Latios is close, but on a sliver of HP, he just
Oh my god.
to make that hero play, but it is
Oh my god. I can't believe that just happened.
owing that ground
from the Groudon, not gonna hit anybody. Swole keeps on going. We've had to stop ripping. Blastoise takes out the Crustle. We've still got the
Okay, let me play from the beginning. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Remain behind in points, but that Latios has now hit level 14 at Groudon. Chile are going to be fortunate and happy that they've got a level 14 for themselves. It's the Mimikyu, but jumping in perhaps a little too deep.
The Latios is getting some good poke damage here. So that's really good. The Rock Tomb procs the Mimikyu passive.
Chile is forced back and Venezuela can take up position.
Yeah, Clefable able to heal up all of that poke damage that's been able to come out from Venezuela. Look at those little balls. I don't know what it's called coming out from the Eon Twins. They're doing so much damage.
Oh my god, they got him!
Night move gets him off the board. No Latios for this endgame fight.
And they've utilized the Mist Blast, of which Renzook was the bodyguard yet again. This Clefable don't need a Mega Evolution to be changing the tide of this battle. Buzzwole goes 1v1. Super Sword Slam.
Yeah, Buzzwole getting them right on there was pretty huge.
Stop ripping. Blastoise takes out the Crustle. We've still got the Latios, who's going to come back online momentarily. Chile looking for that final KO, but this Buzzwole keeps on going. Finally, Akage finally gets that KO. 2 KO streak, but Latios is back. Double yawn.
Damn, that was a 3-person yawn from the Snorlax. That is pretty huge.
But look at this Mimikyu going after, harassing the Blissey, and now it's just the Eon Twins left. There's not much of a health bar here between the pair of them. Here goes the Eon Blast. Another block on the Eon Blast, this time from Teseo. Incredible work positioning from Chile. Eventually the Snorlax falls, and this is still going, Bridget. They're going for a score. 100 points. 100 points, they take the lead.
Chile's coordination has been insane, but this Groudon is low on HP. Chile is looking for KOs. Meanwhile, Venezuela wants the big Dawn in the center of the map, but Chile really won't let them get close. Latios is close, but on a sliver of HP, he just can't do it. Blissey tries to make that hero play, but it is gonna be big man Blastoise KOing that Groudon.
Damn.
Wrapping up the game.
Shoot, guys, I'm so sorry. I actually have to go. The plan was to watch this like in its entirety, but and obviously you guys know I do long streams. I actually have to go. I didn't know before I started stream, so very short stream. But I'll be back later today. I'll be back later today. It's just I have to go and I'll come back later. So you guys enjoy your afternoon. I'll be back later in the evening, hopefully. But if not, then I will be back tomorrow for a long stream. All right. So I am sorry, guys. I do have to go. Something came up. Nothing bad. Just I have to do some stuff. And then
They were
hopefully when I'm
everywhere.
done,
But
I'll be
for
back.
me, what mattered most
I
was how
know, guys. I'm
Shlade
sorry. I'm sorry.
dealt with the Eon Twins late game. Renzuk and
Put my
Teseo,
Let me put my camera back too.
952,000 damage from Akashi, Teseo and Renzuk.
Yeah.
If I had a bet, I
So
would tip
yeah,
it
I do have to
towards Renzuk.
go.
That was
Um,
incredible blocking.
hopefully
That
I can come back
healing
later in the
number
evening,
should
or you know,
Oh,
later
wow.
today.
I didn't even see that.
But
realize no one
if
from
not, then
Venezuela had
I'll do a long
any
stream tomorrow,
bonus
guys.
items
All right,
on.
long stream tomorrow if I'm not live later today. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Worth of healing. Shout out
Wow.
Renzook. I have no idea how to say